All right, here we go. Hi, everybody. It's your boy Hardcorn. Welcome back. We're doing something special today. We've got ourselves a tier list over here. We got a tier maker over here. We've got 20 characters and a whole bunch of categories. So, I want to get down to brass tacks with it. I'm not too keen on these sort of things. I've never made one before, so it's going to take a bit of doing to make sure it works out. Oh, shit. I hope it turns out all right. How you doing there, Raptor? You ready for some tier lists? Because it's going to be interesting, to say the least. We're not doing anything with the tower. We're not doing anything with the game. We're just going to make it a list today. All right. Okay. We'll start off with this. It's pretty dead simple. We have I think our 5 categories right here. S, A, B, C, and D. I think it's pretty easy to start off with. I don't have anything that's like getting into weird categories, so I want to have a nice starter one so I can get acquainted with how the system works. Because I made this one because I was looking for it earlier to see if there's any sort of a tier list made already, like if that has all the characters. There's a lot of them that are very incomplete or have their own pre-made categories, so I was not bothering with that at all. So we're going to go with, I'll call this, well, let's get the text going. We'll call this one cutest taimanins. We'll call this first category cutest taimanins. We'll put that up there. Gotta unlock it first. I don't know if it's centered or not. We'll lock it there. There we go. We'll start off with this one with cutest taimanins. Hello there, Kagimar97. We've got some tier lists we're gonna be making. We're going to be starting off with cutest taimanins. So we've got 20 right here. We have and also of course our AT original. So let's get started with it. All right, we're going to start off in the D tier in terms of cuteness. In terms of them, first we'll start off with Oboro in D. Oboro is not exactly totally cute or anything like that. I mean, she's the antithesis of cute. She's directly supposed to be like sexy and evil and mean. That's not very cute at all. Like that does not work. Who will join her in the bottom ranks? I don't think that we'll have very much in there. Well, we'll say Murasaki as well. Murasaki is not very cute. She's like a total butch in everything she does, and that's not cute at all. In the first place. Yukikaze, bitches aren't cute at all. They really aren't. So the D tier is probably going to be staying filled right there. There's probably going to be a lot of competition in the ABC area, though. So we'll have, in terms of cuteness, In the C tier, we'll probably start off with someone like, Sue. Sue isn't exactly like very cute. She's extremely serious like all the time. Maybe there's a gap moe aspect about it, but it's like I like that she's a heavy, hard-hitting fighter, but that doesn't make her very cute. That's for the same reasoning that Murasaki gets put in D. The reason that Sue does not get to stay in D, does not go to D, is because she just sits there and like is the foil to Yukikaze, and I think that's a nice, cute, dynamic aspect. Kurenai has the same problems too, because she sits there and just has a whole bunch of like really angry sentiments about her, and it's like obviously she has the intimacy where she reads to the kids. Actually, you know what? We're gonna put you in B because you read to the kids, and that's pretty cute. That whole situation right there was nice. So you got to move up to B because you cared for the children. Sue, if you start caring for other children, maybe you'll get moved up to B as well. But in C, I guess Ingrid will go there too. She has a similar problem with like, oh, she's so rude and mean and serious all the time. All she does is like, she's Black's coffee bitch or something like that. So she just sits there and like does his bidding, gets her ass handed to her, just fights all the time. I mean, if you like the Gap Moe aspect of like, oh, she's like so serious, but then she does something clumsy like, oh, like in her intimacy episode 75, you get Ingrid goes to the beach, and it's like, oh, that's adorable. Ingrid goes to the beach. It's like, but yeah, that's like one thing. What about the other actions she accomplishes? She's a very serious woman. It doesn't work out that way. Let's see. Who's next? Who will stay in C? Good job, Jermaine. That's our lady right there, Miss Queen of the Inferno, Astaroth. You know what? We'll put Astaroth on the board. We'll put her in B because she's a very doting person, and she takes care of her demons pretty well. Life is good for if you're living with the Queen of the Inferno because she doesn't mess with you very much. She gets to sit there and B in terms of the cuteness scale, which is all right with me. I like that's a good job there, Astaroth. Now, we'll probably put someone like I'd say Rinko. That's definitely an A, 100%. She is like she's the cool big sister type. She's all doting on you. She's like, you're her number one. She loves that about you. She loves you. She loves everything about you. And she's like, oh, it's adorable. She loves cute, sparkly things and all that stuff. Oh, it's nothing too. It's going pretty good there, Jermaine. We're just hanging out and making ourselves a little tier list right here. We're going over the cutest Taimanins for sure. We've progressed pretty far on this sort of list, so it's doing all right, I guess. We already got Astaroth over here in B. That's nice. Oh God, I'm coughing. But Rinko, that's a nice gal that she deserves to be an A. It's gonna be pretty hard to pierce the veil and go into S for sure. But if you know me, you already know the answer who it's gonna be in S. But Asagi, we'll go to B because she has that sort of Gap Moe aspect too, about where she's a serious woman, but then has like not so serious things about her. Like that's obviously not the cutest thing, because what I deem as cute is like you'll do a soft task or whatever, like oh, we're going to pick out clothes, or we're going to hang out and just like watch a movie or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's something like that. Asagi will probably like she'll go on a professional date with you, and it's like, oh, we're going to we are going to see a movie, and then we're going to have a date, and then go see the movie, and then we're going to hang out, and then we're going to go home, and then we're going to totally bang, okay? Something like that. She's very professional about it. There's nothing cutesy or romantic or fun about it. Asuka, though, does not have any of that. She's a fun gal. She does a lot of cool stuff. She plays baseball. She'll go to the baseball game with you and hang out. She'll go clothes shopping. She'll do that sort of stuff. That's real cute stuff. I like it. Emily is like she'll probably sit in B as well because she's a very professional lady a very professional lady too. We don't get to learn too much about her. I think in her enemy episode that she had, she sat there and like, you know, helped and hung out with some people. So it's like, it's okay. It's a similar situation. That's another person who sits there in, I guess, B. No, she'll be in Rin's going to C, because all we see of her is being a professional business lady and a teacher. That's it. I cannot think of any other time that she's sat there and just been like done something cute. I really can't. I would probably, if someone will probably remind me at some point that like, oh, she's done like this really specific thing one time that's gonna raise like her cuteness points up to the fucking moon. It's like, yeah, that's like one time. That's like saying like, you know, that's pretty much saying, oh, I stubbed my toe one time, and that totally makes up for the fact that great atrocities happen in this world. They don't compare. Next though is, we'll put Felicia in A. Because Felicia is you know, a little cute gal as well. She teases you. She has fun. She actually has fun doing it too. She teases you when she's in combat. Has fun. She's very affectionate on that sort of thing. Obviously, she has that deep-seated hatred for her sister that kind of hurts her. But she has very cute clothes. She's fun. It's like she's a perfect storm of like being cute and also extremely potent. And Kiara will go there as well, because she's 100% vanilla ice cream. Like, there's no doubt about it. I got a burp. Burping again. Kiara's like 100% vanilla ice cream. It's like, nice one, pressed. Keep lurking there, buddy. All right. And Kiara's 100% vanilla ice cream. She just sits there and like, you know, she's all about you. She just hangs out with you all the time. She's like doing cool things. She makes nice little ice sculptures for you with her ice powers. I'm like, that's great. I like that. Kiara, you're good. You're gonna sit there in A. That's probably like the only time she's gonna be in an A today, unless a meteorite comes by and then probably changes my mind with the radiation that hits me with. Ugh. All right, then we got Micah. Micah's a tough choice, because she has Gyaru fashions in there for sure, but she's also like does a lot of butch tendencies with her Gyaru attributes. Like Micah buys cute clothes and has fun as well, but she also sits there and like shoots people to death and smokes cigarettes. So she's hardcore, but she's also softcore as well. So she gets to sit there perfectly in the middle. Like, these characters right here are like, they can go either way in terms of cuteness or seriousness. So it's like, it's 100% like totally them. Shiranui gets to go in A because she's like the doting mom type. She does very cute doting mom sort of things. And yeah, no, you probably know. Yeah, there you go, Nadzi. You using your head. But Shiranui's out there, like, she's the doting mom type. She's there to care for you. She does fun stuff with the group. She leads them. She can also be like, she has a Gatmoe thing too as well, where she's also serious, but she actually can do cute things as well and backs it up. So it's a very good semblance of situation for Shiranui. And it's more of the same with Shizuru. No, not so much Shizuru, because she gets to sit in the middle as well. Because she has fun teasing the other people, and she has fun playing with the enemies as well. So she has like a nice combination of doing fun and cute things with other characters. Tokiko gets to go in C because she's way too serious all the time. Like, she's ungodly serious. Like, I cannot believe it half the time. So she gets to sit there because she does some cute things, you know, like, oh, she gets to have and enjoy herself maybe once in a while, but no, she's going to be up to her ass in paperwork and just like saying like, did you get those TPS reports done there, Rin? Or Fuma, did you eat your meal today that I cooked for you? It's like, nah, you're sitting there in C, Tokiko. And of course, we've got Sakura. Sakura gets to go in A because she does a lot of the similar things that all the people in A do. Has fun, doting, cute things that she does to the main characters. She interacts well. She has a lot of fun moments from the past and the present, and probably into the future as well. It's more of the same. She's just there for you. She's, you know, she sits there and plays games with you. She'll play games with you, watch movies with you. She'll just do fun, doting, cute things. That's what really sells the top A level, is like in personal involvement with others and yourself. So that's why they get to sit there in A. And of course, Noah is our only S contender today, for at least in cutest Taimanins. Noah is like the cutest goddamn character that Lilith and Gremory has probably ever made. It's insane. I love it. Like, she's like the soft-spoken, hard hitter. Hard hitter is like dubious at best, but she hits pretty goddamn hard. So she works out pretty well. And she has like, you know, oh, can I have a little snack? It's like, oh, yum yum. She does little cute moe things, which is like absolutely perfect. She is like 0% serious. She just sits there and lists upon the wins. Like if she was 100% is like a character out of non-Biori, like lifted and then put into Action Taimanin as a playable character, it's great. It's like the fucking Moe Blob shows, but it's 100%. She's the cutest character in the game. 100% S ranks for sure. I am outraged that Sakura didn't get into S. It's like, yeah. It's like, she's not getting into S for sure. Because Noah beats the hell out of everybody in the game in terms of cuteness. Hello, Darth Neo. The tier list, well, the first one we're doing is going pretty well. We just figured out cutest Taimanins. So we're going to take a look at that. Let's save this right here, where we have, you know, all right, we got our tier list for cutest Taimanins. I have to put that in there later. There we go. You get to hear my system sounds. I gotta put that in my personal server. Save that for later. Okay. Nope, I need to turn this up. But now that we found out our cutest Taimanins, oh, where am I gonna go? So we're gonna have reset it there. Instead of cutest Taimanins today, it's, oh, we need to unlock that first. Ooh, I'd say what's another little fun list? Would pick you up from the airport. Need to put a drop shadow behind that. How many tier lists are we doing? I don't know, because the one I want to end on is my like actual tier list for the game itself. But I want to do a couple of like, I think maybe about 5 fun tier lists at first. I want to get at least an hour going. Would pick you from the airport. Where is that? It's alignment. Can I turn on the background? Sure, why not? Actually, no, that bites slightly into it like that. I need more practice using it. Of course, I gotta figure out how that stuff works. Text transform. No, I don't want to do that sort of thing. I need to upgrade it from select font. Oh, that's gonna be great. It's gonna fucking crash, isn't it? Nope. Okay. Oops. There we go. There's our text. If I can put it down. There we go. Here's a little fun list. We're gonna do who would pick you up from the airport. And like, they're not gonna like, you know, call an Uber for you to go get you. They're going to like go in their car or like their company car and pick you up from the airport and bring you all the way home. Maybe even get you some dinner or some lunch or breakfast or whenever you came in from the plane. Like that level of caring, if they cared that much, they would be in like S rank. If they didn't at all, then they're gonna go in D. So who would pick me up from the airport and like do all that sort of stuff? Well, we're gonna find out who's gonna be an S. Okay, who wouldn't pick me up from the airport at all? So let's actually name the categories. Not at all. Clear out car. Not would, but not clear out the car. Clean car. Ask you about the trip. Would. Clean car. Asking. Asking about the trip, and then drive-through food and would clean. Asking about the trip, dine in food, would pay. There we go. That's a fucking tier right there. Okay, now we've got not at all. Okay, here's some pretty obvious solutions. Yukikaze wouldn't do that at all. She's in it for herself 100%. Like, she wouldn't even get, if she knew you were coming home from a trip, like she sees on Facebook or Instagram, or like you snap her on a, like you snap her like, oh man, I'm headed home or something like that. She's like, okay, and thanks, welcome. She'd say, thanks, welcome back. And then she would just like, she just reply that, like the post or what, or something like, or like it or whatever, and then she would just close her phone and then go back to sleep and then like let someone else do it. Yukikaze would not be picking your ass up from the airport. And let's see who else wouldn't pick up the air right there. Also, Yukikaze is underage, and so that means she doesn't have a car and can't drive. And Felicia, she would not pick you up from the airport at all. She is too much up her own ass as well, because she would not at all, like, she would not at all go in any sort of direction to go pick your ass up from the airport. She would in fact probably damn near try to destroy the plane you're on to make sure you can't get home, or at least destroy the plane enough to cripple you and then make your journey home that much worse. Let's see, who else? Also Felicia is like what, 8? Is not 8 years old. She's probably like what, 12 to 14 years old. She can't even drive at all. No, we won't even factor the car in there anymore, because like we won't factor like the ability to drive. It's like they can drive. We'll just leave it at that. But let's see. Rinko. Yeah, she would be the type to clean her car. She would be the type to clean her car, ask you about your trip, and say like, oh, she's planning a trip too. What did you think of the place? And then get you some drive-through food. Of course, you have to pay her for it, but you two would eat it in the car on the way back to the house. She wouldn't, because she's obviously a busy gal. She's a bit serious herself, so it's like, she's taking time out of her day to do this. So, you know, it's like she, you know, like she has to go to the grocery store later that evening or that day or beforehand. It's like, I've already spent so much money and we've already spent so much time. I'm sure you want to get home, and I also need to get home too because I'm doing a few things. So that's Rinko. She's going up to like pretty damn near high tier. We gotta turn that down. Let's see. Emily 100% would be like the person you would want to drive you home and pick you up from the airport. Definitely Rinko and Kurenai and Emily would be gently at you for the airport. That would work 100% there, Darth Neo. But Emily would be the perfect person to ask for you to ask to pick you up from the airport, because she would clean her car for you. She would ask you about the trip, tell you plain facts, vacation as well. It's like, did you like the trip? Maybe I want to go there as well because it looked like you had a good time from the pictures you posted. And then you would go to a restaurant afterwards, and then she would take you there and pay for the food because you're like already so tired and paid so much money. You're just going to have a nice meal together or something like that. Emily would 100% take you home from the airport, and it would be just as good an experience as your vacation. Emily's a great girl for this. Let's see, and Sakura would be in the type to do everything and then they go to the drive-through food. And it's like she would be very excited to listen to you about how your trip went throughout the entire ride home and then eat drive-through food. Because to Sakura, it's just about being close and together with you and experiencing like, what was your trip like, and then being with you. And hopefully maybe one day that Sakura would be able to go on the trip with you as well. All right, and Ingrid would go to the airport, clean her car, and then ask you about the trip. That's the only thing that would happen on the entire car ride home. She would clear out the entire conversation in about, I'd say 10, 15 minutes. And then it's like silence all the way after that. After the first 15 minutes, it's silence all the way there on the ride home. You're probably going to catch a nap if Ingrid's driving you back to your place. You'll get there super safely. You'll arrive in time. I guess if you were missing anything, or for hopefully anything happening that day, if you had to do something. Ingrid's very direct, and she would get you there in one piece, and it would be the most boring trip you've ever had. Yo, what's happening there, Postman? We're making tier lists today. We're making tier lists about which action Taimanin character would pick you up from the airport. Alright, next we have, Sue. Sue is a similar situation to Ingrid. They're both they're stick up their ass gamers over here. And Sue would clean her car and ask you about the trip. And it's like, she would also be the type that she would ask you about the trip first when you're in the car. The first 15 minutes go by just like Ingrid. You're telling your story about the trip, probably showing a few pictures along the way at some stoplights. And then, But then Sue would make it about herself at that point. Sue would then go and talk about I went on vacation a few months ago as well. And then Sue would describe her vacation to the person who just went on vacation, would love to tell their story continuously. And then all the way home. And then Sue would probably go bye, that was a wonderful ride home, and you'd thank Sue, and you'd be kind of regretting that you did that in the first place instead of picking someone like Emily or Rinko, because they would listen to your story. Sue would be like that. She would make it about herself. Oboro actually would be the type to pick you up from the airport, but she would be like, you know, she'd have the dirty ass car, or she'd dirty it up on purpose. Like she just go like, oh yeah, I'm here for you, dude. Oh, I bet your trip was great. Then she's like, you know, like, oh, open the trunk, and like, okay. Then you go put the stuff in the trunk. She literally was going home from like the grocery store or something. So like you've got she's got her entire trunk full of groceries, or she picked up some like plants or something from like the home improvement store. And she did that. She got a trunk full of stuff, so you got to move it around. You have like no room for your stuff, and you can't even put it in the back seat either because it's like filled with other crap and garbage. Then you go sit in the front seat of like Oboro's car, and she's like smiling and giggling so smugly at you. It's like, oh, what's wrong? It's like, is my car? Oh my! She's like smiling and giggling. She's like, oh, my car's so dirty. Oh, it's so gross. Oh, I should have cleaned it up. Oboro would have never cleaned her car at all. She would never do it. She's just doing it to just, you know, like make your like return trip a living hell, because she's just trying to spite you for having a good time and posting about it. Yeah, Oboro would be the type to make you ride in the trunk in the first place. It's like, get in the trunk. My plants that I'm taking home and this bag of cat food that I need to bring, it's like they have priority over you. You get in the trunk and you stay there. And then Oboro will go over every bump and take it like another 20 miles home, and then go in like the roughest roads ever to make your asshole like totally hurt because you're getting like fucked over in the trunk of the car. Like Oboro would be like the absolute worst. She would be like the worst person to ask to take from the airport. Let's see, who else would be there? I've got a really bad. I have some things I want to say about it, Tokiko, but I want to wait. We have let's see. Yeah, we'll do it. Noah would 100% be the kind of person to pick you up from the airport, keep her car clean, asking about your trip, and then you would get drive-through food. Noah is like what? She's a very young Chimera, so she probably doesn't have a lot of money. And also Noah probably wants to eat too. So she's going to get some food and you guys are going to go eat in the car. You're going to eat in the car and then she's going to be like, wow, your trip was so cool there, guy. I would love to go over to where, like, I would love to go over to Indonesia. I'm sure you had a great time. And then Noah would like slowly eat her hamburger and then like look at you so dotingly and excitingly to ask you about your trip even more, because she just loves hearing about people's problems and adventures. That's why she picked you up from the airport, because she knew you were going to have a story for her. Because whenever you're with Noah, it's story time. She always sounds like she's going to fall asleep too. Oh no, Noah's got narcolepsy. She's going to fall asleep at the wheel. Let's see. Asagi is all business. She really is. She cares for one person, but you've got to be like, do all the sort of person. She's got Asagi is the type of person who's real hard up about herself. And like she would ask you about the trip and, you know, like make small talk about, you know, what has happened since you were gone, keep you in the loop about things on the drive home, and just all those sort of things. And she'd also like ask you about your trip and then tell you about trips she's had to other places as well. Because Asagi, you know, she's a high-ranking lady. She gets her vacation and she knows where to vacation and totally relax. Asagi's is like really in the middle about that sort of thing. She doesn't make it about yourself. She knows how to make sure it's about you, because she knows how to make it be a professional situation. Tokiko's the type of housemaid sort of person. She would be the nicest one to welcome you and make your trip well. Yes, I was about to get there because I was kind of unsure about that, because I was thinking about like Asagi, because I was thinking Asagi first because she would be the type to, you know, like ask you about the trip and then do all that sort of thing. Tokiko, on the other hand, is Tokiko would probably rent a larger car for the situation. She would bring her car. She would ask you about the trip, and she wouldn't ask like, you know, yes or no questions. Did you like it? She would like be very involved in the whole process of asking about your trip, what you did on the trip. Did you get any cool souvenirs? Did you bring me anything? She'd make a joke about that. Then you would go to like a dine-in food place. She would 100% pay. And she wouldn't say, she's like, oh, I don't mind. I just want to welcome you back home with that sort of thing. Probably one of the first best meals you've had on that, since you had that nice 18-hour plane ride trip, huh? And then not only that, Tokiko would probably also go to your house and help you unpack and maybe clean up some things as well, because you probably got some dirty things and like dishes you need dishes cleaned up, things dusted or whatever, to help you get back on track to keeping your home in order. Like Tokiko would not just spend, you know, like the first 4 hours helping you like do all that sort of stuff. Tokiko would probably make a whole day of it. Tokiko would make a whole day of it of helping you and welcoming you back to the whole, you know, ninja society, and about making you feel welcome and that you had a good trip and you're acknowledged. Tokiko makes it about you. Same with Emily. Emily makes it about you. Until you mention Asagi around Emily. But for the most part, like 90% of the time, these girls are for you. They're working to help you. Bring you home from the airport and do nice things. The best maid ever. And let's see. Asuka would be in A for sure. Because she would drive her car. She would drive her car there. She would ask you about her trip, and she'd be like really excited about it too. Like, she'd be the type of person who'd be like, oh my god, you really went to Disneyland Japan? Oh my god, that was amazing. I love going to Disneyland Japan. She would be like the type to turn to you while she's driving and just like talk directly to you and ask questions excitedly. Like she's a fucking, you know, like right out of a Goofy movie, like when Goofy and Max are sitting there in the car and they're asking each other questions, and Asuka would do that. She's like, you really went to Disneyland Japan? Oh, you really went to Hong Kong? Like, oh my god, I've never been there. Can you tell me all about it? Oh, she would be just so excited to hear about that, like a fucking dog seeing its master come home. Like, oh my god. Asuka would 100% be like that. She wouldn't even go to, like, you know, she wouldn't go to a Burger King or a Jollibee or McDonald's. No, she would go to somewhere like, she would go to a drive-through area or a place that has curbside pickup and then get, like, nice food for the both of you. So she could continuously sit there, like, curled up in the driver's seat, like, just staring at you, eating her food right off with, like, in a box off of her knee in there, just like, you went there? I'm so oh, that's so exciting. I wish I could go on a trip like that, but Asagi and the rest of the girls, they just won't let me go. Like, the whole A rank right here would just be, like, hanging on your every word about the trip, sitting there in the car. Emily and, like, Tokiko would just sit over there and, like, would go over to your house and then, like, make coffee and sit there and listen to your trip and then look at pictures with you. That would be like the kind of people they are. Let's see. And then Micah would go to the Micah would pick you up from the airport. She would not clean out her car at all. She wouldn't do anything like she asked about the trip, you know, like for the first 5 minutes and tell you to shut the fuck up. And then she's like, I'm going to go have a smoke for the rest of the way home. And she'll end up smoking an entire pack of cigarettes at the same time. Her car would smell, of course, like cigarettes and cigars. She'd have one of those, like, glow-in-the-dark ashtrays you put in the cup holder. And then, like, there's, like, a ton of put-out cigarettes right there next to the gear shift. And you're just sitting there, just like, you know, it's like, you know, Micah, it was, I heard you like that sort of place. And it's like you could ask Micah, like, oh, I know you like that sort of place, Micah. It was pretty cool. She's like, shut up. I don't care. I just want to get home. I just wanted to pick you up out of the kindness of my heart. Are you going to just squander this favor? All right? I'm taking time out of my day to make sure I can get you home from the airport, okay? You may be our commander, but you're not, you know, but I'm not your bitch, all right? It would be something like that sort of situation with Micah. It's like, yeah, she'll take you home, but it's reluctant for her. It's reluctant for Micah to take you home. Because Micah wouldn't be like, you know, this is impacting her from being like doing Gyaru activities or shopping. She wants to shop for herself, or she wants to shop for herself. And also probably to replace the clothes that get covered in cigarette smoke. They get too poisoned by cigarette smoke. So she would go over there and just like, if there was like a mall or something on the way to the airport, it's like, you know, Micah would probably be shutting up for like the first 5 minutes, and then you remember about the mall that's over there, like just right off the freeway in the that's near the airport. Then Micah would probably move from no, I got a better one. Micah would pick you up from the airport. That would put her up in D, and she wouldn't clean out her car. But the thing is, it would rise her up to A. Micah is like, she's a flex pick from like C to A, because if you told her you're not going to the mall, Micah wouldn't give a shit. She would pick you up, smoke a whole pack of cigarettes with the windows rolled up or just barely open, and then take you home. But if you said you're going to the mall afterwards, she would go right up to A. No, not up to, yeah, she would go right up to A and just like ask you all about that because she just wants someone to go to the mall with. Like, you take her to the mall, she's 100% your gal. If she's not, you're just asking her to do a mundane activity. It's like, nuh-uh. It's like, I want to buy some clothes and you're going to help me. But if you're not buying clothes, she's going to sit there in a C. Murasaki would not pick you up from the airport at all. She has better things to do, like train the other girls, do that sort of stuff. She wouldn't pick you up from the airport. That's the same situation with Astaroth. Astaroth would 100% not pick you up from the airport. She would probably throw a meteor or make a volcano erupt at the airport, so that makes your life a living hell trying to get home. But Kiara, on the other hand, would be one of the best people to get you to take home from the airport. She would come up in her 100% ice-encrusted car. It would look like it would shimmer with diamonds. You're going to be the best. You're going to be picked up in the best-looking car at the airport. She would then take you home, ask you about your trip, how was it been, and then she would say like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit hot. I got a sunburn. Okay, let me put some ice on that sunburn. I bet you'll feel better from that. And then you would probably go to somewhere like, if the airport was just like off the coast or something, and you have to go past something like Navy Pier or the Santa Monica Boardwalk. Not Tokiko either. Oh, I forgot her name. Kiara would take you like, you know what? It's like, why don't we take a little D2, a little meal over there at the pier? Wouldn't you like that? It's like, yeah, I would like that, Kiara. I would love going there to the pier with you and just hanging out. Maybe even get a couple of ice creams or snow cones or slushies, you know, ice flavored stuff. She would have a lot of fun with that because she just gets to be there and hang out with you. That works. She'd probably also, you know, like take stuff home. Not take stuff home, but like help take things out of the car for you, like carry them up the stairs, or like bring in all the stuff that you brought home. It would be a nice, Kiara would make it a nice experience for you to be welcomed home. And Kurenai, more of the same. She would be more excited to hear about your trip, about you, your trip, and then making the whole experience complete by giving you food and then eating up. It's great. Duh. You are Kotaro there, Darth Neo. They gotta think about that. That's the whole experience. Hang on a second. We gotta crack open another one. It's a long day ahead. All right. There we go. Now we have 3 left. We have Rin. I don't know much about her, at least not too much. But what I can remember, she's a very serious lady. So she would clean her car out. In fact, her car would probably be immaculate. It would almost look factory new. She would clean up the car and then ask you about the trip. You know, was it a good time? Did you enjoy your trip over there in Bali? Did you enjoy your trip over there in New Mexico, seeing your family? Whatever. She would ask you about the trip and ask and just give antecedents about her life. You know, she's lived a long life as well. She's made some trips to other places. She's made infiltration missions too that have taken her to foreign odd places. And she'd make it essentially like a trip down memory lane about ninja activities with her. It would be nice and fun in that sort of sense. That's all I got to really say for Rin. Because Big Mommy over here, she would be another fantastic choice for picking you up from the airport. Because Shiranui is a 100% our doting mom sort of character, and Shiranui would bring over her huge ass like mom van, and she'd like open the door. She'd slide open the door, and she'd be like, "Hi, welcome back. How was your trip?" And she'd like pick up all the bags and stuff you got there, just throw them in the back, and like set them and just do that and sort of thing. She's like, "Oh, I can't wait to hear about your entire trip." She'd open the door for you. She'd let you in. She'd get in the car and then drive you home. She's driving a minivan too, so it's like ultra slow and making you take like forever to complete the entire trip back home, but she wanted it that way so she can be there with you and just ask you like mom questions. Like Shiranui would totally ask you mom questions about your trip. It's like, did you get hurt? Did you get sick at all during your trip? Are you okay? Did you bring anything back? I hope you didn't catch any diseases or bring back any bugs. Like, I don't want anything like that in my car, because then I have to go home, and if I bring home any sort of sickness from you, I'm going to probably pass that to Yukikaze. I don't want to do that. Yo, what's happening there, John Pierre? We're making fun tier lists right now. We're making a tier list about, you know, who would pick you up from the airport. We're talking about Shiranui and how she would be a great option to pick you up from the airport. Because Shiranui would just go out there, she'd ask those fun mom questions. It's like, did you wear enough sunscreen when you were at the beach? Oh, I heard you went over there to California for vacation to see your friends and for that gaming tournament. Did you wear sunscreen? Did you stay in the shade when it got hot that day? I was watching the weather at home, and I saw that it was like 110 degrees over there in Santa Monica where the thing was at. And then Micah Shiranui would ask you fun mom questions like that. And then you tell her about, like, you know, oh, it's like, see, mom, and then you show Shiranui the pictures you got from like the event you were doing, the conference, what have you. And then like she would just sit there and just have a good time looking at those pictures and like, oh, I remember I went to a place like too. It's like, yes, that was great. It's like, oh, and then Shiranui would say like, oh, I'm so glad you're back. It's like, where do you want to eat? Come on, I'll pay for it. And then you could actually ask for like a nice restaurant, and Shiranui wouldn't mind. She wouldn't mind taking you to like a nice like steak dinner or steak restaurant or whatever when you come back. It's just the two of you having like a nice lunch or dinner and like enjoying yourselves so you can relax and unwind from a trip that may or may not have been stressful or anything like that. It would be perfect for Shiranui to be the 100% one of the people to pick for you to come back from the airport with. Shizuru, I've been having like a tough time thinking about, which is why I've been procrastinating on her for a while, because she either could go for A or B. Because like with A or B, it's just like she's serious enough to like just make it about like just taking you home, but also if she liked you enough, if Shizuru liked you enough, she would take you and then ask you vehemently about the trip and then take you for drive-through food. Or depending if like if she's had a bad day or something, she just wants to take you home. So she's like a flex pick in the AB section. So I'll just put her in A, because like I'm sure everybody has more good days than bad. So she would, on the like a better day for Shizuru, when she's not having to do a sort of, you know, infiltration mission, grading papers, doing makeup tests, administrative work or whatever, she's not tired from that, she would go over there, make a day of, she would clean the car, ask about your trip, take you for drive-through food because she's not going to spend that much money. She's already burning a ton of gas to get you there, to get home. So she's just gonna, you know, like make the best of the situation, and also make you feel welcome as well. Because in her spy adventure, she knows like if someone feels comfortable, they're going to be a better use to her much later on, compared to if she had a bad day and then went and picked you up for a trip and then didn't ask you about anything. You're not gonna feel comfortable around Shizuru. She's not gonna get anything out of you for it. So it's she's a 100% an A. So I think that's it. That's enough for who would pick you up from the airport. This is a pretty solid list for which Taimanin would pick me up from the airport. So let's see. I'm gonna save that now, because that's perfect. Lovely stuff. I don't exactly like use the save or download feature because it puts the watermark on there and it always is like super bad. All right, this is cutest. Put that over there. In that was, what did I call that again? That's like most likely to take you. Who would pick you up from the airport? Who would pick you up from the airport? There we go. That's a pretty good one. That works for me. What if another one would work? We got obviously who would pick me up from the airport. Now I'm having a trouble thinking of a category because the first two I was like thinking of for the last few days and I was sitting on those, but now I'm like stuck on a category I want to use. Because there's another fun one I was thinking of earlier, but I don't know if it'll work. Because I was thinking like either who would give the best advice, or who would give the best advice, or dang, I can't even remember. It's something like who would give the best advice, or who would be the best person to play in trios? Who would be the best person to play in duos with in a multiplayer game? You have to do that. Who would give the best life advice? I like that. Let me move you over. Make a new top row for the image and crop out the watermark area. Who makes better chocolate? Dang it. Oh, that's not in the middle. I gotta use like a fucking magnifying glass because I gotta see this in like, because I can't see the I can't see the thing in there because I'm looking in like the preview in OBS and I've got to move the text over because I've got like the chat in there. I've got all this sort of stuff going on. And crop out the watermark area. I mean, I saved screenshots of all the other stuff. So yeah, this is going to be our who will give best life advice. We'll just start there. All right. We'll make some tiers for it. So S. No, we'll go to the bottom first. Misleading advice. Lying. Misplaced ideas. Is that not misplaced ideas? It's who would give? It would give misleading advice, lying. Yeah, it's like it's pretty obvious like where some of these characters are gonna just like go immediately. It's like misleading advice, lying. No, not misleading, just flat out lying. Misleading. Dubious advice. Actually helpful. Life-changing. So we've got our categories are going to be like you give the worst advice ever. You just flat out lying to the person. Then you have misleading advice where it's like, you know, oh, are they actually helping me or are they going to hinder me? No, that's dubious advice. Are they helping me or hindering me? You can't really decide what they're saying. Then you have misleading advice where it's like, oh, what they're actually saying is true, but it also will probably get you in trouble. And then actually helpful advice, you know, it's like, oh, it's not like, you know, it's good pointers in the direction you should go. And life-changing advice, meaning like they say the exact sort of words they want you to hear. They say the exact words that you needed to hear right at that moment, and it will change your life at that point forever after that. So, ow, damn it. Oh, hit my knee against the table. Okay. Flat out lying. I think this one's pretty obvious, guys. It's good Oloboro. She will flat out lie to you, cheat you, deceive you. She will probably give you like the worst advice ever. She's like, oh, like if say like, oh man, Oboro, my dog died. I need some help. What should I do? She's like, she would probably tell you, why don't you go join your dog? Jump off the same bridge that he fell off of. Maybe you could catch him in the air at the same time and you could meet him at the same place. She would 100% be like, you know, like they have the low tier god gifts where he's like, you should kill yourself now. They would have those, but Oboro on there. That's her advice. That's her life advice. She would lie to you and cheat you out of everything and say like, you know, oh, I'm having some stock options, Oboro. What do you think I should take? You should take this obviously failing stock that I know is not going to work, and then you're going to lose money. But she says, like, she'll hype up the stock and it's going to be great. It's like, yeah, you don't take advice from her. It's going to be a lie. Let's see. Yukikaze, look at that. She's actually moving out of the bottom rack into dubious advice. As evidenced by the last event in Action Taimanin, Yukikaze gave dubious advice to Fuma and Sakura, so they actually got in trouble with Miss Rin about it. And Yukikaze is very good at giving like two-sided advice. Like I don't know what that's called. It's like it's both good advice and it also can be like misconstrued as well. So it's like is it both helpful or hindering her? Because it made Fuma like rethink his entire, you know, strategy of like how he was going to go to the event and skip out on the test. Like her advice will be dubious at best. Rinko actually gives helpful advice. She's still young in her years. Obviously, she's only like what 17, 18 years old. but she gives actually pretty good advice, probably because, Rinko's been through some shit, and she knows, like, the last thing anyone wants to hear when they're going through tough times is, it's like the last thing you want to hear in your tough times is bad advice, and you should kill yourself now. You don't want a Boro advice, you want Rinko advice. That's actually helpful. Let's see. Micah will be the type of person to actually give you like a tough love situation. She's like, hey, it's like, I'm not usually good at this sort of thing, but I'm gonna give you some advice. You're a really cool person, and we liked you a lot. We need you to stay around because without you, we're nothing. She'd give you like the biggest like motivational speech ever, and lots of advice to help you get through your tough times and making a decision on a situation. Who else? Kiara goes in the misleading section. Kiara is like so airheaded all the time. Like she's just all over the place. She's a little ditzy little gal. So if like you get advice from Kiara, she will just take like whatever she heard the first time, and it's like a game of telephone. She heard one thing and what comes out is another. So she's like, she would see a car commercial that she liked. She saw a car that she liked on a commercial. She thought it was cute, but it actually turns out to be like the car is actually very bad. But she heard one good compliment about the car, so she's going to say like, okay, it's like you should get this car because it's very nice and I thought it was pretty cool. I heard a lot of good reviews about it, but in fact, her advice was misled and created from a wrong place. So because she didn't think about it too hard, she didn't think about it a lot, and it caused her advice to be misleading and make a bad decision possibly for you. Kiara's advice in life, misleading. Your set Taimanins there are Onisaka, Kiara, and Asuka. I wonder what those are for. Maybe for actually help for life changing. But speaking of Asagi, Miss Asagi would be our first life changer. Miss Asagi would probably give us extremely life-changing advice because she has been on both, she's had her ups and downs for sure. So she knows that you need to have personal strength and what you need to hear at the right time so that you too can overcome your problems or make the right decision at need be. Like, if you really are having a tough decision you need to make, such as, oh man, Asagi, my grandfather's dying. I am the person who decides whether he lives or dies or not, or whether they pull the plug. What should I do, Asagi? Do you think it's right for me to do such a thing? She would probably give you like the most sincere help that you would ever need. 100%. And Shiranui would give really good life-changing advice as well, because she would she's obviously lost loved ones. She's lost loved ones for sure. She's had things done to her as well. She knows how to get through a tough situation and become stronger out of it. And also, she's a mother. She can give motherly advice to, like, oh, imagine like, oh, I'm a new mother, Shiranui. It's like, how do you raise your girl? And like, how do you do that sort of stuff? Like, being a mother is so hard. Like, there's so much to do. I don't know if I can do it all. It's like, she would probably be like the one, like another woman would go up to Shiranui and ask her, like, how do you stay so fit in your 30s, early 40s like this, and then still manage to be like a powerful woman and do all that sort of thing? She would give rock solid, life-changing advice, being both a mother, a business professional, and just a generally good person, which is why she gets treated some of the worst and they're broken down. And let's see, we got Shizuru would get actually helpful advice. No, not yeah. She would give actually helpful advice because she knows from her ability to like infiltrate and gather information. She knows exactly what to say at the right time to make helpful and neat and useful advice for someone. Because obviously she'll get some information out of it at some point if she says a good thing somewhere, pays a compliment, helps you somewhere. Maybe you could do something for her in the future. It's not always just a I'd say a mutual sort of benefit for her. She may do it out of the kindness for her, out of her heart. All right, hang on a second. There we go. And advice from Evil Shiranui might be life-changing as well. I'm sure it would be, because Evil Shiranui would give you some very convincing arguments to end certain parts of your situation. That's for sure. The Evil Shiranui. Sue would join Yukikaze for the Dubious Advice Club because she would obviously give advice, but it's like, is it due to Sue's very serious demeanor? You don't know if she's actually talking to you or talking at you. Like she's like trying to blame the victim or trying to help you in that sort of sense. So it's like you don't know what she's trying to accomplish with her talking. Because in Sue's mind, it's probably either, she's trying to help you, but it comes out differently because she doesn't know how to articulate herself vocally and emotionally in that way. Also, both of these girls would probably throw a fit if you didn't understand what you were trying to say at them or you started crying like harder. Felicia would be in the misleading category because she would just sit there and give you the worst. She would give you like really bad advice at portions, but also like try to play a prank on you. Like say you're trying to ask Felicia for directions to like this bakery. Okay, it's like, oh yeah, I've got this bakery. It's like, and she tells you like to go down several streets where it's obviously not going to be, and then you get lost in a bad part of town. Or Felicia would probably give like, it's like if you had to make a tough decision, like, Felicia, I just came into some money as of late. Should I invest into like a CD or stocks or bonds? It's like, oh no, you should invest in my cryptocurrency. Yeah, that's a really good one. It's on the up and up. We're doing a good job. And then she gives misleading advice, and Felicia's cryptocurrency, she pulls the rug out under from everybody and just fucks everyone over. It's misleading advice that only benefits her. You are misled into believing a false accountants because of Felicia's activities. That's Felicia right there. Astaroth is more of the same because she obviously, we'll just put her here. She would flat out lie to you because she would either flat out lie to you or trick you in general. But she would do it like much more maliciously than Felicia would. Like Astaroth's the queen of the Inferno and she holds her title with an iron fist. She doesn't hold it because, she was like nice. She holds it because she beats the fucking shit out of everything. So if you try to challenge her or something like that, Astaroth would probably be like, oh, I have gotten a report that my southern front is being attacked by this demon army, and she would send you to your death. Like she would do that. She would do something that would send you. She would lie to you about something and then send you to your death in some sort of way, because you either messed up something about her or like you crossed her in some sort of way, even just slightly, and just made it like it created a little inconvenience, and she just puts you to the chopping block and like does all that. Even if you try to ask her for advice on something very difficult, like, I'd say, Felicia, I've been thinking about starting, not Felicia, Astaroth, I've been thinking about starting a small business. It's like, Astaroth would tell you it's like, no, you would have a very good idea to start a small business, and then Astaroth would say that idea is terrible. I hate it. No one would buy anything. And if you believed her, it would be your own fault. And then Astaroth would take said idea and go make $1 million bajillion. She would lie, cheat, and steal from you if you came to her for advice. Well, hold on, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Okay, let's get to it. So the next one would say is dubious advice would be Noah. Noah follows in the same sort of area as... Well, Noah being a chimera, she would only be in things for like herself. So she would just sit there and say, all right, I've got myself a situation at hand. Like you tell Noah you've got a situation at hand. She's only got like one thing on her mind is really to eat and keep herself alive. So if it doesn't really suit her right there, she would probably try to go off of like experience she's had with like the other girls and try to go off of what they said. Even though like she would probably try to copy someone's advice like Shizuru's or Shiranui's or Asagi's advice and try to say that to you the best they can. But the thing is, that advice might not be working at the same time. Like that advice that she's trying to say, that she's trying to emulate from the other girls, probably might not fit in your situation. But if you stretched it a little bit, it may work. But Noah would give very dubious advice because she doesn't really have the knowledge base to just straight up give advice. Boy, it's only now that I realize there's 20 characters in here. That's a lot of people. Ingrid would actually give helpful advice. Because Ingrid's like, code of honor being like this very serious and duty-driven sort of person. She would probably try to figure out the most optimal solution to something, but also, like she from what I remember, it's like Ingrid is like the very serious warrior woman with a heart of gold. So it's like she's got some things to say and that she enjoys herself with. She can give you advice, like she can give you like mechanical advice, obviously, like Ingrid, how can I swing my sword better? How can I fight better? How can I do that? She can obviously answer those very well. But if you gave her like a personal question, like, it's like, oh, Ingrid, it's like, I don't know. I've been having a lot of trouble with my girlfriend lately. We're going through a rocky time in our relationship. You ask her like a relationship question, she would probably give you pretty good advice, but it's not going to be as helpful as like someone who's... It's not going to be like the best advice ever, but it will be very helpful to get you on the right track with like in your relationships or whatever you're doing. Yo, Uncle. How you doing? We're just giving tier list today various fun little tier lists, because right now we're doing a best life advice for various Taimanins. Alright, now we've got the, who's next? I mean, it's hard to say on some of these because it's like, alright, because these right here I could figure out pretty easily. But these last 7, it's like, man, I don't even. It's very hard for me to say. Because I want to put like Tokiko in one of these 2 slots because she probably has really good advice in general. Because like Tokiko is just like generally, she's the butler lady. She's very good at that sort of stuff. Where do you guys think? Do you think Tokiko could give life-changing or helpful advice? Does she fall short of the mark and goes along with the others? Because in the meantime, I'm pretty sure, like, Emily... This is a tough one. I'd say... Oh, no. It's like, oh, this is tough. I know. Yeah, you're right. A or S for Tokiko. I'll put her in A. Because Tokiko does actually give helpful advice, like, most times, I think, to Fuma and the rest of the gang. But she, like, she gives good, like, battle advice, like, how to do things well. She interacts with her family very, very good, too. So she's, like, very together. Tokiko has herself, like, very, very together. We can obviously see that because she's, like, I think, what, Fuma's legal guardian at some point? She's, like, Fuma's legal guardian or something like that. So she's obviously got, like, she's got her noggin together. Her noodle isn't falling out of her ears. So she can actually give some pretty helpful advice as well. Of course, Tokiko's been through a lot. She's had plenty of stuff happen to her. No Raptor, she's an M. She's a hard M for sure. She acts like an S though. But yes, I do feel like though she's gonna go to S because she does give quite good advice. She has her shit together. And it's like, 'cause the more that I think about it, she's like, she doesn't just give actually helpful advice. She's she's a good fighter, and she's also like a very good person to the rest of her family, and also like gives good advice to her sisters, to Fuma, to the rest of the girls, and keeps everybody in line as well. So she's gonna sit there in S because she actually gives life-changing advice. You could come to her with like. You could come to her if you're grieving, and then she will be able to like console you and say, and just tell you ways to help yourself feel better and get better after the whole situation. But Sakura gives misleading advice. She's not like misleading like Felicia. It's a similar situation more to like Kiara, where she's a little bit airheaded, and it's like she takes the first sort of thing that comes to her, and just takes it as fact. So if you try to ask her about that sort of situation, what did she think of it, and if you have any tips or tricks on that sort of stuff, she would probably tell you that whether or not it worked. She wouldn't do any homework or experimentation or putting her theory to the test. She would just say like that sort of advice, but it might end up misleading her the recipient. And then we have like I want to put Asuka in A. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put Asuka in A for helpful advice because Asuka actually seems like the one that's the most. Asuka seems like the one that's actually like the most likely to be your friend and would listen to your problems and give you like really good advice. Like I could honestly see like if Asuka wasn't doing ninja activities, she would be writing for like an advice column She'd be writing for an advice column on like a newspaper or a blog, or doing like self-help stuff with like self-help videos or whatever. Yeah, it's sort of based on like character personality there, Uncle, where like the concept is like you need to ask this character for advice, and I'm determining like would this character give me quality advice, or would they give me bad advice? And this is what we've come up with so far in terms of like, are they going to give me good or bad advice? And in terms of the category of level of advice as well. But that's what I would think of Asuka, is like she would tell me like good things about myself and help me get through a very tough time. It wouldn't exactly be like super life changing, but it would be like enough to get the ball rolling, like after a few more steps, if I really was thinking about it and wanted to take the steps moving forward. Because like the actually helpful category is getting a little too bloated, because these are like really good choices for being actually helpful people. We'll put Rin in life-changing, and here's why. Rin goes in the life-changing portion because she has experience beyond her years. She's a professional woman, just much like Asagi, but it's like she has the professionalism about her that she could obviously answer stuff like she's not a mom like Shiranui, where she can't give like the most motherly direct advice, but she can ask you things like, you can ask her like real intimate questions and she can answer them pretty straightforward, and in a sense like you can need to hear this. I know it may make you mad or sad or whatever, but this will probably change your life right here and now when I say it, because of her life experience beyond her years. Like all these girls right here are like much bigger women than they are, much bigger women than they seem. And also like Kurenai is also a woman beyond her years. She's probably I think one of the oldest members of the cast, like in terms of age, but acts like a 16-year-old girl. So I would probably give her like dubious advice. It wouldn't be like exactly misleading, because Kurenai does have the ability to think about her decisions. I mean, she doesn't make the best decisions, but they may, whatever like she makes a decision on, it may help or hinder not only herself but you as well. So if you get involved with her in terms of advice, it may be like a little iffy. Not as iffy as someone like Yukikaze, where it's almost exactly like it's not gonna work. And you're gonna get in trouble probably. You're not gonna get like in trouble because of Kurenai. You're gonna get in trouble because of like acting on advice that she gave you. She would probably be like the like Kurenai would probably be like, oh, hey Kurenai, how should I get this cat out of the tree? And it's and she would say, just throw a rock at it. It's like, yeah, you throw a rock at a cat, you're going to get the cat out of the tree, obviously, but you might hurt the cat. You might you might hit the cat and then hit it off of something else, like into someone's car or into someone's yard or whatever. Or might even hit yourself or Kurenai because you threw a rock and it bounces off of something. It's like that. It's like dubious advice. It will accomplish the task. But it's not good. Now we're down to our last two. It's like, hello SM, I hope you have an amazing day as well. And yes, you do agree on Rin, because it's she's got hard to tell advice, but she's good at it. She will tell you what you need to hear, like a tough love situation, because Micah has that sort of thing with the tough love thing. But Rin will give it to you real straight and with absolutely no mercy, but she will give you a hug afterwards because, you needed to hear this, And I know you did, and I had to say it because nobody else would. Now we're down to these two characters, and honestly, like, it's really difficult because I know because both these characters can actually fit inside life-changing and actually helpful. So Ooh. Oh boy. Oh. They'll both go into actually helpful. Because they could both give a it's very hard for me to tell on Murasaki because like Murasaki would probably never just flat out lie to you or mislead you or just give you dubious advice. Murasaki would give you like very straight-laced advice. It would be like very optimal sort of decisions on that sort of advice. If you guys have ever played Xenosaga, well, yeah, probably no one has ever played Xenosaga. If you ever played a game like, well, Xenosaga has a character named Cosmos, and Cosmos always picks the most optimal and direct situation. And it's like, Cosmos always picks the optimal and most direct situation that's like, you know, it may not be like the most at best sort of thing. No, it may not be like the best for you emotionally, but physically and for the rest of us, it would be the best solution. That's what sort of solutions and advice that Murasaki would give. They are helpful advice, but you might not like it. Yeah. And Emily would be an A because she's actually, you know, gives good advice, is actually helpful, is good enough to care for you. It's like say it in a... Emily would also present the advice in a way that wouldn't make you want to fucking cry or make you want to kill yourself afterwards. She would be a very like good negotiator in those sort of terms. Because that's also another thing. All these characters right here could package their their advice in a way that is like uplifting, exactly what you need to hear, and very hard hitting. Because that reminds me that like the rest of these characters can package their responses for advice in a way that's like, you know, very it's good, but it's not like, you know, it's it will make sense to you, but you don't feel as uplifted to be as motivated as you would if you heard it from someone like Tokiko or Shiranui. Emily has that sort of thing, so she can go in between like life-changing or something like that. Because Emily's like really solid advice. She'll give you like really good advice that will probably be life-changing to some people. But if it's something that's outside of her wheelhouse, like it's like, you know, oh, I've lost a family member, or I have lost a lot of money in this place. What am I supposed to do to make it all back? She could obviously give some advice there, but it wouldn't be, you know, like totally life-changing. But it would be helpful. All right. We've got everybody there for life advice. Now that was something special for sure. Go save that. Save that. That's good. That's a good life advice chart. Who would pick you up from the airport? Who would give the best life advice? All right, that's good. Now the question. Now we reset. What's going to be the next category then? We have been going for 90 minutes. No, Mr. Thoroughly Confused. She does belong there in A because the empathy requirements, you know, Micah is there in A because she may not exactly meet she meets like not the most similar empathy requirements as Murasaki because it would be a tough love situation, but Murasaki can't even like really beat into that sort of thing. I wouldn't call it like Asperger's or autism, because Murasaki is like not that. She's just a very hardened and battle-oriented person. Murasaki would give you a battle metaphor. She would be that sort of thing. If you don't understand battle metaphors or have read shit like the Sun Tzu's Art of War or like the biography of General Patton, you would not get her metaphor and it wouldn't work on you. But whatever the metaphor was and the advice she was trying to give through like a war thing or a battle meta or through a battle or through a battle or whatever like that, that's kind of, she would give advice through something like that. If you didn't get it, you wouldn't understand it. But the advice would work if you did get it in that aspect. Because that advice would not be misleading, it would actually be very good. What would another category be then? Because the other one we obviously did life advice. Now I was thinking like, well, another one would be like, what would another fun little tier list be before we go on to the big finish? You know what? We've been going for 90 minutes. We gotten 3 very fun ones done. So let's do the final one, which is the actual tier list. Let's see, Hardcorns top picks. There we go. Yeah, that's it. PCI picks. There we go. Now we gotta look at the screen and figure out where I'm at. Yeah, it automatically updates that, but I can't do this. Cool. All right, guys. Now we're going to get into the actual serious business list. And it's going to be a fucking great one. Now I'm going to wait for that to catch up. I'm going to go to the bathroom first. Ugh. Okay. All right, now we can do it. We have, let's see, Micah, an S tier, no question. Emily, bottom tier, she is terrible. Emily's so bad. All right, it's time to get down to brass tacks, people. Let's start off with, well, hold on a second. I need to open up. I want to go in like release order of characters. So I got to go find the game. open it up real quick, and then go to the store to see what characters got released in which order. Because you can find that out actually just by looking at the package selections. Go to the store. Limited time. Monthly. Monkey. Okay, so that's going to be here. All right. So, all right. First, we'll start off with where is Asagi going to go in my tier list? All right. Asagi herself. She's like one of the first three. She's one of the first three characters that released. She has remained constantly strong throughout the entire game's life. You can do every single thing in the game with her. She has one of the strongest slows in the game. I think probably I would consider the strongest slow in the game. It's she's very useful, does a very high damage output, consistently powerful. I mean, there's no reason to say like she has weaknesses, yes, for sure. Then like they reduced the recovery on a lot of her skills. They with the update now that she's reduced the recovery of a lot of her skills. There's a lot of stuff that kept her safe. She has probably one of the best crowd control skills in general. Two of them actually. She doesn't have a lot of all-in-one skills though, so she's just gonna have to live with that sort of thing. So we're gonna put her in A, where she rightfully belongs. She's not good enough and game breaking to be an S, but she's my favorite generalist ever. Asagi is just so rock solid that I just can't say no. It's perfect. Like you really can't go wrong playing her. Now we're on to Sakura. Sakura herself has undergone a massive improvement with her update, and even before her update, she had plenty of strength in terms of like long reaching attacks, not chasing with a basic attack, chasing with like, her spin, lots of spammable low cooldown skills that have high base damage. Like Sakura is like a really good shotgunner for sure, but she has like a lot of she obviously could be better. And where I would put her, I'd probably say that Sakura sits at a solid A as well, along with her sister, because they both accomplish things in their niches very well. Well, they're both very solid generalists with weak healing. Like Asagi's healing is still like you either do no damage or 1 million damage, which means you'll heal barely any HP or all your HP at once. And it's a very iffy situation. You have to build a lot of crit in a color that doesn't have a lot of boost for crit. Sakura, on the other hand, has innate crit boosting, so she can crit all day, but with a low base damage, she has to sit there and, baby it a little bit. That's why she has such spammable skills that do a ton of damage to help shore up that factor. She does a lot of things very solidly. And next is Yukikaze. I would put her in D, but that's very unfair to her. As much as I don't like her, she is actually a very, very good character. Though Yukikaze only has one build people use on her, because all the other colors for Yukikaze are absolutely terrible. I'm looking at her skills right now, and it's like, wow, she's a suppressed character. So that means she gets the suppressed boosted. She gets the boost for being a suppressed character. She's also a human, so she gets those as well. But it's all I ever want to do is use Ryan with her, because it's such a huge AoE bursting attack, and it's really, really good because it's multiple hits, a ton of healing, huge critical damage. It's wow, if I'm not using green with her, I'm missing out, because then you use her red skills, they're not good. Use her blue one, that's not very good either. Like she has a lot of effects and like they're really good. You're just like all I really ever find myself using with Yukikaze is just like one specific build. With Sakura and Asagi and a whole bunch of other girls, I can really find myself using all 3 of their colors in some way. Some way effectively, quickly and usefully. It works. I fucking keep hitting the arena instead of the shop button. Purchase package. There it is. You can see all of them in the list. There it is. Oh, of course. Asagi is like the most important character to the Lilith company and as the Taimanin franchise. There would be no reason for any of us to be here in general if Ingrid was not here, if Sagi was not here, none of us would be here. She is a very important character. But we're discussing things mechanically with gameplay, and Asagi is a 100% hard A right there. She's going to stay there. Asagi is like quadruple S in terms of like importance, though. In terms of like story and bringing in new customers. It's a timeless design that has worked for 14 years and probably 14 more. But Yukikaze is going to B. She's going to go to B because she's only got 1. That's right, we got Asagi Christ. She took the sins of the orcs all over and inside of her because so that she could protect us from their nasty clutches. What a true powerful ninja. Hi Rundrace, we're doing the gameplay picks, my gameplay pick tier list over here. And I haven't saw the limited supporter for Sora yet, so I guess it's her turn next to be a playable character. We may have to change that in the due time. In battle, of course. Yukikaze is going to B. She's going to stay there too because she's got one solid build. That's it. And that one solid build like out damages Sakura, Asagi, and many other characters in the game. And also Yukikaze has a weapon that like puts her on top of the mountain in terms of damage. That goddamn Greek fire is so strong. All right, next up is Rinko. Rinko was like the very first new playable character after the first 3 girls. And Rinko has I think like I'd describe it in 2 ways. There's 75 Rinko and then there's 81 Rinko. 75 Rinko has extremely like she has a lot of recovery on like on her attacks. So and she needs some help getting like obviously like to get over there to finish things off. The shift is like, you know, it's a solid attack. But like when you use it at like 75 Rinko, you don't have Violet Slash. Violet Slash is what really like makes Rinko totally pop off in terms of like dealing damage and speed. And also like the fact you need and also then people also will use Shosu as well to help argue for Rinko's relevance because Shosu gives 2 wind slices in a row. It's better than any other wind slice is better than any of her attack that she has, any other attack she has, because it keeps her mobile and it's a mobile, it's a high hit count, it's super strong, and then Shosu increases skill damage by so much, and it's insane. And then Rinko has her meteor, of course. We all know the meteor because it's amazing. It's amazingly strong. It's a huge AoE attack. And then also she has her other colors as well. Her other colors are actually like, they can work well, except for the triple red one because it has like such an awful startup and it takes forever to get going. Like Rinko has like a lot of problems when you play her like different areas, but it doesn't change the fact that Rinko like herself at the core is strong. But she gets to work very hard in terms of like, but she has to work, you as a player have to work very hard in terms of making her stats good enough to have it work. It's why the blue build has always been recommended for so long, is because there's the blue build has instant damage with the meteor. You don't have to sit there and like do a whole bunch of setup like you do with green or red, which is like annoying. Because Mugen Hoe is she has to sit there with the bullets and wait for that. She has to finish the entire animation of her firing bullets. The bullets have to travel, and they have to do all that just to do no damage. Then you have to do the big red slash, whatever that move is called. That has such a long amount of windup, and the AOE is probably, which is to me honestly, it's not big enough. It needs to cover damn near half of the room in order to make it useful. It needs to be it wants to be Judgement cut end, but there's nothing. But it can't end the Judgement cut because it's not big enough to do any sort of damage. It's a fucking huge. It needs to be huge. Rinko, as in terms of like raw strength though, like when she's hitting with her basic attack, her basic attack is like really good. It's like 100% full frontal coverage. And that means she can pick up like a ton of enemies, and she can like do crazy shit like a 180-degree turn behind her, and then like pick up more enemies completely with that basic attack, and then sweep it up all the way at the end. And then if you have an 81 Rinko, you use Violet Slash, and then she gets either a buff or a slow, which totally seals the deal on Rinko, because that whole finishing attack is like opens up so many new doors for her in terms of mobility and also increasing her damage. Violet Slash is what makes Green Rinko possible in the first place. Hi Masher. No, we didn't just start. This is the last one we've been doing. We've been going for about an hour and 50 minutes now, but we're doing the big gameplay tier list. And we just got done, and we just finished describing Rinko. We're going to put Rinko in A. If you play Rinko at 81, she's an A. If you play Rinko at 75, she's B. I have Rinko at 81, so she's A. But I've also had her at 75 I have had her at 75 for almost 2 years. And when she was at 75, she was a solid B. But when she got up to 81, she was an A. So she rides the line between A and B pretty well. She's good, but not too great. She needs heavy investment. I've also got heavy bias against Yukikaze. Oh, it's all cool, Masher. We'll have the VOD up later so you can go you can go watch some of the other fun tier lists we made previously. Ooh. Alright, who came after Rinko? Oh, look at that. Look who's next up after Rinko. It's Murasaki. Murasaki, I'm sure everyone here knows just how great Murasaki is. Murasaki is... Well, I'll just flat out say it right now. She's going straight up to S. There's no doubt about it. There's no question about it that Murasaki is S. Because she has 2 forms of healing. She has the highest base damage strength. She has the highest base damage for her basic attack in the entire game. She has the only character with super armor on her attacks that are not given with skills. Extreme AoE clearing, the best slow in the game that ties itself with Asagi. And actually, it's probably the best slow in the game, because not only does it give herself a buff, it gives the enemies a very extreme debuff as well. What else is that? Murasaki also has extreme AoE clearing power with her spin attack. She has very strong movement options because her dashes don't have a delay in recovery. She can just sit. She has several forms of slow that she can use. She has Devil Bringers. She has an AoE stun AoE stun shotgun blast that does her stuff. That does a ton of slows. It heals too. She has 3 healing skills. like Murasaki is like built to destroy and also give life to herself. Like they made it, she's gonna stay busted for a very long time. Very few characters have actually come up to even close to her in terms of like damage potential and damage potential, strength, healing, and crowd control. There's just barely anything that comes close. Is it the falling through the floor bug there, Masher? Like the one where you're using like a Great Axe Senpu? You're flying through the air, but if you get caught on something that's like, you know, there's the no covering below the ground, she just falls to the ground and the mission fails. I think it's something like that. Man, they're Nazi. You can play Murasaki with no skills and just use your you can just use Murasaki's raw strength and win. There's like no question about it. She's too strong. Would I say nerf her? No, because if you took away any of those aspects from Murasaki, if you took even Murasaki's healing away, Murasaki would instantly fall down to somewhere like B, because she may have a slow. Like she would need to keep that slow on all the time and make sure like if she gets hit at any point during her basic attack, she's going to take too much damage. Her healing is what keeps her like so relevant because of the strength and power of those skills, and they scale off of the damage done. So it's like, it's perfect. If she didn't have that sort of healing, and if she didn't have her raw strength and healing, she would just fall straight down to B. Let's see. Who is next after Murasaki? Oh, look at that. It's Miss Sujingle. Sujingle obviously is this is a character I would say that I will never be able to master, because she's Sue is very difficult, I'll say that much. Because you have to live with the fact that you don't have any healing on a character that needs you don't have any healing on a character that has to rely on close quarters attacks and super armor. So you have to build Sue as a like ultimate shotgun character. Like she's a real glass cannon for sure. You need to be very careful on that. And also Sue has the shortest dashes in the game, but she gets 3 of them in a row. Which means you can't do like, you have to learn how to fight in the fray and get really good at learning how to extreme dodges work. And just like weaving in and out and baiting attacks out of characters. It doesn't really work so well. Like if you can't really do that, you're not going to get a lot out of Sue. Because if you're finding yourself like hitting, running, and escaping, trying to use like her dashes to get somewhere, you're only going to get like probably 1.25 actual dashes distance compared to like an actual character such as like Murasaki or Asagi, where they have 2 long dashes that they can use to escape. Sue does not have that. You have to be like, you got to be in the ass of the enemy and dealing all the damage you can. And you either instantly kill them or incapacitate them in some sort of way. And she is super duper gear dependent. Like if you do not have good supporters or weapons behind you, you're just not going to do shit with her. It's going to suck. Yeah, that's right there, Dufan. Every character should have some sort of healing in the first place, or do such overwhelming damage they will never need to heal. Sue can do the overwhelming damage part, but you need something like, you will need like 2 skill level 5 weapons to like really get her going. Because if you get her going with like 2 skill level 5 weapons, like, I'd say, I'm sure you guys have all heard of Mr. Loppy Bun, the world's biggest Sue fan and Noah fan. He's got this wicked sick insane Sue, and this guy is like, but he has to use some pretty high rank supports, pretty high enchant levels, and pretty strong high skill level weapons to get Sue to do extremely monstrous damage. Because Sue can do all the damage she needs. It's just you have to have the gear for it and be good enough with her mechanically too. Well, Darth Neo, we've just gotten to Sue. We're going to put her at B. Sue is a solid B for sure. We're just getting down over there. No, Rinko is not B. She's A. But, well, I'll just say this, Darth Neo. Like, if you play Rinko at 75, level 75, she's going to be B. When you have her at 81, she gets to be an A because she has all the buffs and debuffs that Violet Slash gives, along with the speed. Even with something like, you know, Shosu, she's not going to be like S because that's just not going to work. Let's see. Who came after Sue? Oh. Shiranui. Guess what, guys? We got Big Mama in the house. Good old Miss Shiranui. I will say this much. If this is a hesitant for me because I want to... I'll do it. I'll just go fucking do it. We're going to put her in S. Big Mama gets the top spot alongside Miss Murasaki, but not for the same reasons as Murasaki. I like Shiranui a lot. Oh, look, it's S for Shiranui. Shiranui has some of the best AoE clearing ability in the game. If there are any mobs that come up at any point, she'll be able to instantly dispatch them. She also comes with like two extreme dodge skills that allow her to chip armor and deal damage from a distance. Alongside that, she has two healing skills that are just like off the fucking planet. Rondo heals, Senko heals. Senko being like a total sniper skill, actually. You can if you really went for the idea, you could probably build some one-shot builds with Shiranui in terms of like one-shotting ability. I'm probably also heavily biased because I really like Shiranui's gameplay a lot. There's also Yugen Goku, which is like the biggest extreme shotgun explosive blast ever. It's 2 of them in a row, which is like really nice. Kazuguruma can just falls the fuck off, though. It's really dangerous to use in most situations. But green and red for Shiranui just absolutely like they move heaven and earth for her. She's like, they're really, really good. Ugh. Shiranui's healing skill, though. Yeah, both of her healing skills are both like in the red color. They don't get healing. I think they don't get healing boosts anywhere unless you directly put that on there. But Shiranui has like a bunch of base damage boosts and also like a bunch of like AoE clearing ability inside red, which allows her to do like really crazy stuff inside there too. She can do really crazy damage and also have a lot of longevity. Shiranui is also a protect character, which means it gives her the flexibility to actually deal damage inside blue, outside of like anything that's like a raw damage supporter. Well, like she can actually use the blue supporters, which is like that 40% protect and 40%, then that 30% attack damage up, put them together and actually use those sort of things together as well. Like, if you actually get the protect demarcation for your character itself, like Shiranui, Micah, and Kurenai, it actually makes them really strong because they can actually use that one specific supporter. That Lilim supporter makes like the biggest difference ever in terms of actually helping or hindering a character. Like both of these girls right here, Shiranui and Murasaki, all 3 of their colors actually can work. Like all the rest of these guys here, they all have like, 2 or 1 color specifically that works, which is going to be a running theme as it comes to be later on, that we're going to find out that if you can't use all your colors and all your sets, they're not going to work. You can't adapt. Like the higher you go, the higher adaptability these characters have. Like Shiranui is like, she's the queen of adaptability. dare I say, she's fluid like water because, man, Shiranui can do just about everything. Same as Murasaki. You can take both of these girls to hard content today and win. Next up is the wonderful Miss Emily Simmons. Emily is also another case of where all of her attacks work. Like, all of her colors, they work. They're very, very strong and they're very good. Like, she doesn't exactly have any bad skills. They all have a niche in some way and are very, very useful. Like, Emily remains the queen of the arena. You're never gonna, if you see a team without an Emily getting to the top, they're doing something very different, and they're doing a good job. But like, Emily allows you to farm passively, also and also play actively too. Like, Emily can do 100% absolutely everything. Top level floors on the tower though, she absolutely needs invincibility. But hey, who doesn't need invincibility though? But it's like, Emily can do like 90% of the game's content with just her by herself alone. Emily is also really gear dependent. She really, really needs like a good gear behind her because her base attack level is so low, you won't be doing any sort of damage. That's why you need like Yuno, who like you use her active effect, and it gives like, since Emily has such incredibly high hit counts, it allows her to do something crazy like, get like a 100% boost to her critical hit damage and 100% boost to her critical hit rate. So she deals 250,000 damage crits 8 times a second, which will damn near instantly kill about everything in the game. So it's like, it's absolutely nuts. Emily's a very good character in all due respects. It's why she gets recommended so heavily by veteran players to newer players. For one, it's because of the farming ability, and two, because of her innate versatility and strength. I mean, Emily also has healing. You don't see healing field used a lot because Emily's so slow. But the thing is, it's like, she has a healing. You can use it for spot healing, but that's about it. But Emily is A. Emily gets to go to A because she has low base attack and is very gear dependent. You can use SRs on the top tier and be okay. In fact, I use SRs for like the longest time on both of these girls, and I cleared many tower floors with them. They're very strong. Emily's very gear dependent, but her strength is there, similar to Rinko. Next up is Kurenai. Kurenai is very special because Kurenai allows herself to be, Kurenai is all about dealing critical hits. If you don't have God's Eye active or have a high base critical hit rate, Kurenai ain't doing shit. Kurenai's there to break up armor from a distance and then just go in for the kill and deal like probably like 4 or 5 million damage like really easily. It's absolutely insane how much damage Kurenai can do. One of the best basic attack strings in the game. It's great. Like a typical build for Kurenai would be just getting the Fujibayashi Yuno supporter. It's the one that gives invincibility, but also gives like 56% damage, 56% more damage on normal attack critical hits. And since Kurenai has a really high hit count, along with chasing on her basic attack, you just use that, build up a whole ton of stacks, and just start critting the daylights out of anything. It's amazing. But what happens when you take away Kurenai's critting? Well, she's got several skills. She has several skills that deal very good AoE. Well, like, we have to think about this objectively because you have to look outside of like Kurenai's God's Eye, because God's Eye is like really solid. So like, she has obviously your aerial rave. She has a counter attack. She got the aerial rave, the counter attack. She has that finisher move, which is actually really strong, that they actually built the whole costume around. The two tornadoes, and the tornado Ren, all that sort of stuff. Actually, let me look at her skills again. I need to see that. Oh, Miss Kurenai, we need to see your skills. Thank you, baby. Okay, so she's got, like, she has a whole bunch of really strong skills, and she remains strong to this day. In fact, like, unless they fundamentally change how God's Eye works, like, if they changed how God's Eye worked fundamentally, like it didn't raise crit or something like that, all of the rest of her skills would still be, like, perfect. They're really good. Storm Fang is great for picking up enemies. Storm Zone is AoE clearing power. Howling Wind is, like, made for one-shotting enemies. It's like deflecting wind. It's great. Gale Slash she actually has a recovery with Gale Slash. And then if you actually got her package weapon, it becomes one of the strongest healings for her in general. It's, like, perfect. So if we look at her like this, we're going to put her obviously in A because of her immense strength. However, that's when she has God's Eye on. When she has God's Eye off, she goes to B. Because she's not going to be doing dick without God's Eye, that's for sure. And thankfully, since God's Eye's cooldown is so low, you're going to have it up a lot. Hopefully you have it up a lot, though, and you've mastered her extreme dodge. Because she really needs God's Eye. Because God's Eye is, that's great. Kurenai gets to sit there in A, much like how everyone else has said before. Okay, now who's next? I think who came after that is, I think, Asuka. Oh, Oboro. Hello, Oboro. Now we get to Oboro. We're gonna put her in B. Oboro is a solid middle of the road character. Oboro has, like, really strong attributes inside her. Like, Oboro has probably, like, she probably has the best slow in the game next to Murasaki and Asagi with Hypnosis Seal. That thing will absolutely carry your stupid ass through most floors in the tower and in most hard content. It's absolutely great. Oboro also has the raw strength and a high hit count of her basic attack as well. You can just build her basic attack completely, and use your basic attack. You can use, like, Oboro's basic attack just alone with Hypnosis Seal, and you'll be just fine. Oboro is also blessed with the fact that she has a critical hit damage weapon. She, like, not 20, but what's that thing called? It's like Machine Hand or something like that. It's the critical hit damage SR weapon for Oboro. It's as important to her as with Micah or Ingrid. Those characters absolutely need it. And if you can get Oboro to start critting, she has, like, some of the highest damage potential in the game for very cheap. But the thing is, though, it's like the rest of Oboro's skills, they're kind of iffy, if I do say so myself. Her blue build is entirely, like, it kind of sucks, at least on my end. I have much better results with her in green specifically and blue. Not blue. In green and in red. Oboro thankfully gets the boosts from all those like suppressed character onlys and demons as well, which is, like, it's fantastic. Oboro has, like, some of the highest base damage potential ever. And then she has, like, it's like Vicious Slasher or something like that. It's both the drill and the one that she has the projectile attack that gives a slow and really high critical hit damage. It takes really high investment, though, to make all three of her colors work. Like, I was lucky enough to actually get a 4/5 of her package weapon, and even then I couldn't find ways to make it work. I just keep her at B because, like, she has the physical strength of someone like Murasaki and Rinko, but I specifically lack the ability and understanding of her that well. I can clear content with her, no problem, but it's like I don't feel like I'm doing it right, or I'm missing something like huge that's gonna like break her wide open. Like, she's a very middle of the road choice for me on that aspect. Well, of course Oboro gets to be B because it's like that's it. Some guys make her look A or S rank level. Yeah, I can go make characters like, you could go like work hard and make Noah look S or A rank. It just takes investment and personal skill. Oboro is quite literally the middle of the road in that sort of thing. Does that mean she's bad? No. Oboro is like one of the strongest like base level characters in the game. She's really solid. I could put her at A if I wanted to. But she gets held back that like all of her colors don't work that great. I don't find myself sitting there going like, I don't find myself going to, I can use all three colors with her and like go strictly to 60 to 75 and be okay. No, I can't do that. I have to pick green or I have to pick red. I can't really do that. And I always have to take Hypnosis Seal with me. There's a very specific way to play Oboro. And that one specific way is like extremely strong. So she's good if like you can play her in this if you can play her in this specific window, it's good. Oboro is good in specific instances. Like, she's absolutely perfect at holding enemies down and making sure they can't go anywhere. Like, if you get her in a 1v1 in the tower, it's perfect. She will have no problems there. You can just turtle them down. But I just see her as B. I would probably need to get better with her, get better gear for her too, but I just don't have that. But I'm going to keep her at B, but maybe, who knows, maybe things could change in due time for me. And she could go to an A, because in green she's an A, like 100%. She absolutely kills it in A. Everything else, though, brings her down to B. I'll just leave it at that. Alright, after Oboro is another member of the Kokawa family. It's Miss Asuka. Now, Asuka has... all of her skills are very strong. Actually, Asuka is made to be specifically, a straight DPS character, much like Oboro. Except, there's not a lot of... I'd say Asuka is less gear dependent and less skill dependent because she's got some sick ass buffs on her. I don't know. I have much more. It's more or less I have more experience with Asuka and getting better at her. Oh, I got hiccups. But whenever I play Asuka, I'm always left wondering, like, man, I wish she had healing, because that means, like, I do not have the best geared Asukas out there. So I can't just sit there and have her, like, do her entire basic attack chain, make it crit, and just melt, like, floor 75 in, like, 30 seconds. I can't do that. Compared to some other characters I have that can do that. It's just not the same. Asuka has, like, a really strong series of basic attacks. All her skills are strong. They have really nice cooldowns. They have overlapping cooldowns as well. She's got solid buffs, AoE clearing ability. It's pretty solid stuff. Like, she's a really well-rounded character. Like, she's a good sort of generalist that I like. She does a lot of things just as well as Asagi, though, but she doesn't have the AoE stopping power that Kojinka is. So that really kind of hurts Asuka a little. Obviously, she doesn't also have any healing, which kind of kills it for me on terms of healing. But hey, I can deal enough damage with her that it doesn't matter. Or either that, if there's no healing, you have to put on invincibility at that point, or just get much better at dodging. But I think I would put her at a solid. Put her with her aunt at B. She can stay there at B. She's very well-rounded, but it's like iffy to say the least. That's a one I have to. That's a real. Oboro and Asuka have the most potential to move out of any of these tiers because obviously they have both gotten a package that actually changes their characters in a certain way with repeating rider kicks and the ability to increase your spin count, and also the ability to have suction as well, and also more skill damage. When you have the more skill damage, what's it called? UR weapon, like Oboro goes straight up to B, not B, right up to A. Like, it's absolutely nuts, like how much damage she does with that weapon on. And then you actually have plus 14 or 15 critical support. That's A. Like, yeah, that actually makes sense. Now I'm really thinking about it, because Oboro has a lot of strong concepts inside her that I like, but the one colors in green and partially red is really carries her, which is a similar situation to Kurenai. See, there you go. I thought about it, because she has the potential to move. If you put her in blue, she's B for blue, A for anything else. That's where you're going, Oboro. All right, but Asuka gets to be in B because she has the high motion, but it's like, if I don't have the gear for Asuka, or if I don't have a gear in the specific color, like, if I try to play blue Asuka, I'm not going to do any damage at all, and she's going to take even more damage because the fight is lasting too long. But if I play green or even red Asuka, the fight's over in 5 seconds because she deals millions upon millions of damage so quickly. You have to play her like this. You have to play Asuka with an all-in sort of attitude. You cannot half-ass Asuka. You have to be like, you have to put the whole thing in there, and you have to be committed. Oboro did get promoted because honestly, like, whenever I play Oboro, I really don't have any problems with her. This is just going to be like the Oboro cope list. It's like Oboro I've never had any problems with Oboro. Before her buff, after her buff, Oboro's just like generally been really strong. She's just good. She's just like just wholly good. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Obviously, like outside of green, she's gonna have some trouble, but it's like, I have no problems. There are barely any qualms I have about her. You can handle. Thank you, Crush 40. But Asuka gets to stay in B because if you don't have the gear for her to shotgun down. No, she doesn't have a slow like Oboro's, which hurts her a lot in terms of setup and actually keeping enemies away so that she can do big moves. I think, yeah, Asuka does have some slows, but they require some setup, like actually taking damage to get hit or leaving an enemy groggy. So it's like, it's a rough world out there for Asuka. Asuka's very good, though. Don't get me wrong. I like Asuka a lot. She's one of my most favorite used characters. I enjoy using her. She's good, but almost good enough. But not good enough as her aunt. Or as the other girls where they have some sort of thing behind them that makes them so incredibly strong. I'm sure they will. I'm sure the Latin American community will love me for my Oboro pick. Who's that guy from King of Fighters that's like, that everybody loves? Rugal? Isn't like Rugal just the guy version of Oboro? I don't know, I never played King of Fighters, but I always know that the Latin American community is always up in arms about like, yeah, Rugal, no, using Rugal, he's so broken. But guess who came after Kiara? That's right, Kiara. What I meant to say was who came after was Asuka was Kiara. Kiara is 100% A rank. Kiara got her buff. Kiara, for the most part, has always been A. Kiara is I made a video about Kiara a long time ago talking about how she was not very good. Kiara was not very good in some aspects, but then I had my eyes opened at one point and realized I'm not playing Kiara the right way. I'm trying to play her like she's Asagi or Rinko or Kurenai. No, I need to play Kiara as the enemy, as the person that sits there and whittles my enemies down with damage over time and massive slow effects. I would honest to God put Kiara in S. Like I would honestly put Kiara in S because like she's have you seen that ability to slow enemies? It's one of the best in the game. Because it's like, that is absolutely fucking insane. But it's on some Metal Harbor. Thank you very much. Those lyrical music is very hard. Cool. But it's like, Kiara gets to sit there in A because I need to open her up because I need to find her skill names. Coughing. Miss Vanilla Ice Cream has the single best stun skill in the game. Kiara can't heal, but what she can do is chain her slow and also her slow defense down and freezing ability back to back. Like all you ever have to do, like the battle will end up taking like 15 minutes, but you can turtle enemies down with her. Like Blossoming Fog sitting there, like it can freeze enemies by them walking towards it. Glacier Drop, all she has to do is just jump in the air, drop a huge bomb, and then it freezes a group of enemies. Freeze is like also one of the most busted status ailments in the game because it's a hard stun. It's a hard stun 100%. That single factor alone that Blossoming Fog, Crystal Ice, and Glacier Drop give is what makes her so incredibly powerful in the first place. Because freeze works in the same way as like groggy or an actual stun would work. The enemy is stuck there in place for a set duration. Except freeze lasts 5 seconds. And the cooldown for Glacier Drop is 30% of 11, so that's like 3.2 seconds. So that's I'd say 8 seconds. So like the freeze lasts 5 seconds, then you drop into the glacier and it's like freezes them again. They just took 250 to 500,000 damage from it. Then you can activate Blossoming Fog, and in that time they're using freeze, you can wait for Glacier Drop to cool down, Blossoming Fog to cool down, Frigid Zone to cool down, Snow Leopard Sprint to cool down, Snow Leopard Fist to cool down. A whole bunch of her skills can be like refreshed in the same time. You can chain them back and forth and everything. She also has one of the strongest defense down skills in the entire game. I'm just like winded talking about how fucking great Kiara is. Because man, the fact that Frigid Zone can lower speed and defense while also having the ability to last forever and increase her damage and also deal even greater speed reduction and defense down, it's like Tentacle Mine levels of good. Kiara does not have any healing though, which keeps her from being an S. Because if she had a healing in some sort of way, she'd be an S. But She does not. So she gets to sit there in A with some of the strongest characters in the game. Kiara 100% deserves that spot because honestly, when she first came out, I would have put her at C. She's A now. Well, she's been like a A rank for now. But her buffs that she got 100% confirm her as A. Miss Icy Hot knows really how to push our buttons pretty well. She's very, very good. Okay. And now we're going to get to a character I'm sure everybody's been waiting for. We had, Icy Hot that was, released over there in June of last year. And at the same time, Ingrid got released. Ingrid's next up. Ingrid gets to be I would honestly say that, like, since the improvements that she's had to her skills in terms of recovery, like, Ingrid has, for the longest time, had, like, the highest base attack in the entire game. But she's, Ingrid has had, like, the highest basic attack in the entire game since her release. I don't think there's anyone that has beaten her yet. Ingrid also was like, Ingrid's very fast. She has her legendary super short cooldowns that put her at the top in terms of like total skill spam, speed, damage. Like, she's great. Ingrid is fantastic. I would honestly put her at S because I love her so much. She's great, but she gets to sit there at A, just like the rest of these great characters. Ingrid's speed boost that she got because of her buff in May. Hang on, let me get a drink. Fuck yeah. Kiara might have won, but both of them were kind of weak upon release. It is a sort of equality. I could see that there, Masher. That works out pretty well. Alright. The thing is, though, that Ingrid also was, Ingrid has always been like A ranked for me, at least, because I could see past her I obviously have done the video about Ingrid before, but the thing is, I was able to see past Ingrid's basic attack and use her how she was meant to be played at the time, which was just pure skill spam damage, and I could figure that out, and it was good. It's like, before her buff, everybody was oh no, Ingrid, she's going to go straight up to B because she doesn't have enough, she has to wait so long on recovery for her moves. Her moves don't do enough damage, the area of effective isn't big enough, they have like way too slow or whatever. It's like, no, Ingrid's always been an A. She really has. Her buff didn't really change that much. Her buff is similar to like Asagi's, where it doesn't change too much fundamentally. It's just like a very slight tweak that makes quality of life for Ingrid so much better. Kiara Main's eating good this month, baby. That's right. It's great. Getting the bikini that resembles her original outfit. Eating good. I'm sure we gotta pay a golden pass out the ass because that's what they always do for Kiara, because she makes money. Better yet, she prints money herself. She's the goddamn mint. The attack speed changed for Kiara's basic attack. Not Kiara. Yeah, also for Kiara's basic attack. They got updated at the same time. But the attack change for Ingrid's basic attack chain having chasing ability and also the speed increase, which was a vehement improvement for sure. It's very strong. Like, honestly, I I had gotten used to the idea of having Ingrid play like that, and I learned how to make it work for me. So I learned how to adapt and also become a better player at the same time because of Ingrid's wonkiness and not directly ease of use immediately. All right. Also, Ingrid is one of the cheapest characters to play because all you need is that crit damage SR, and it's a lot easier to get SR weapons than UR weapons for sure. But there is also then you also need for her sub weapons. You could just get another SR weapon or a arena weapon as well, because like then you just sit there and you're eating good for the rest of the month. You're eating good for the rest of the fucking game even because Ingrid's that strong. She can just take toothpicks and beat people to death with them because she's so good. I've got a feeling that that they would probably put what's her face Kiara's outfit in the Desire shop because they would not make it too easy for her. Sakura, on the other hand, they make that one free. They'd make that one like the easiest, most acquirable for her for some reason. They want the pay pigs to go after Kiara. Thankfully, I've saved my Desire and used it for something else. No, I saved my Desire for something like this. Because I knew this would happen. I knew they would release a summer costume that I would want, and they would put it on a carrot, and they would make it like Desire only or Golden Past. It's like, ugh, fuck. Of course they would do something like that. It would make life so much more difficult for us players. It's like, and of course, like, no, let's make everybody have Sakura. It's like, no, I am ready for this. I have my gems ready. I have my Desire points ready. You cannot beat me, Gremory. You're not doing it. And Fast Ingrid is fantastic now. She's great. She's absolutely lovely. She's a worthy rival to Asagi, and she's also a worthy rival to Rinko as well. Now we actually have an Ingrid that can actually compete with the speed of Rinko. We can actually get to see what that was going on too, so that's pretty great. All right, but now we need to move on. Next up, we have Noah. This is going to be really easy. She's going to see. Noah has one color that works. That one color requires so much work in the first place that you're not going to be seeing it happen for months on end unless you're not going to be seeing red exactly work unless you have unless you've been playing for a very long time, have very good Magatamas, have good weapons for her, good stats. Like, if there's gear-dependent characters like Sue, and then there's like skill, gear, and time-dependent characters like Noah. Noah does not have a lot of good things about her. I will say that much. She does have that really good aspect about being the cutest Taimanin in the whole game, but the fact that she's not good as a playable character really hurts her. It really hurts her in a lot of people's eyes because we're a lot of meta slaves, aren't we? But there are ways for her to actually conquer in certain places. Because it's like she has... Like, the red is the only thing that I can ever find that's good. Because obviously you can use blue and green in like you can use blue and green in other parts of the game and they'll work. But it's like, man, she's still a tough customer to play, and it takes a level of it takes really good understanding of her to make sure, like, one, you cannot get greedy with Noah. You really can't. Because she may have, like, Noah's a really good farming character because she can, like, sit there in the middle of the area. All the enemies will come to her. And she also has a suction move as well that she can easily farm with. However, if you try to take her to somewhere that's, like, much more brutal and difficult content, she obviously will 100% need invincibility on damn near all the time, because it's a very rough life for her. It's obviously, like, Noah, like, she's not totally D tier. She's not, like, you know, fucking absolute trash. Like, I have understood how to play Noah as time has went on, because you can't play her as, like, you know, you can't play her as total gorilla mode Asagi or Murasaki or Kurenai, where you can just go balls out and, like, beat a person to death. She beat a person to death with no investment. You need maximum level investment. I actually have a 5/5 UR for her, a 5/5 another weapon for her, and it's still really painful to play, even though I can do so much damage with her. However, her dash is so fast in general that it's like, I'm okay with that. She moves quickly enough that I can just sit there and wait out the cooldown, and when the cooldown finishes, I can make my escape. Noah thankfully has healing. Noah has several instances of healing as well, which makes sure that she has that can keep her safe. She 100% needs those. What skills had healing? There we go. Like, all of her skills could honestly do with, like, some buffs or anything like that. Like, the fact that also Sinister Living Dummy has, like, the shortest range ever. Like, it's the range for Sinister is, like, the same range as, like, what's that thing called? It's a Boros move. Hypnosis Seal. It is a similar range to Hypnosis Seal, but it's like 1/10 as effective. I wish it could be better. And Amanda's Exile healing, but it's only on the blue. But the thing is, Amanda's Exile is so slow, the enemy can actually, like, miss. The skill can miss. You lost your chance to heal, and now you're just a sitting duck because Noah needs to have a cooldown, not a cooldown, but a recovery animation after that gets finished. It's like not too good. I really hope that Noah gets some buffs in the future, because she's the next one for the outfits. Noah deserves more costumes. Noah needs more costumes. She deserves better, goddammit. I want this little Chimera to actually be better than she looks. Is it so hard to have a cute character and then, you know, just... Is it so hard to have a cute character and make them good too? Well, it is possible, because they gave us Felicia. And it's like, where are your priorities, Grammary? Come on. What do you want? But that's Noah. Next up is Astaroth. Astaroth is a pretty straightforward situation. I'm pretty sure everybody understands just how strong Astaroth is. She's strong in every single color she has. You can play every color with Astaroth very well. Astaroth has also healing. That's right, Astaroth can heal. People don't tell you that very much, because the healing sucks for Astaroth. It really does. Because it's based off of, I think, familiar damage, because the satellite explosives are so bad. They do so bad. You're not going to be getting very good damage out of it. But Astaroth is also not so gear dependent, because she has all of her skills are so strong innately that you can just lay them down and deal tons of damage. Supernova's strong. Supernova's strong. Hellblaze is strong. Serpent Blaze is strong. Phoenix Dive is strong. Prominence is strong. The Flare is strong. Everything about Astaroth is pure strength. And then Astaroth, it may be Sinister, but it's still a dummy. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's perfect. But Astaroth absolutely cannot get hit. And when you play as Astaroth's flamethrower, you also get to learn that you learn how to become a much better dodger as Astaroth, because the longer you spend without getting hit as Astaroth, the more damage you can deal. I'm also heavily biased towards Astaroth because she's like my second or third favorite character in the game, and she's going straight up to S. That's right, baby. We're putting Astaroth up there because she's good in every color. She's super strong, super fast, super powerful. Oh my god, I love this big fat demon so much. She's going straight up to S for the sheer power alone. That S stands for sheer power. That's what she has. She's really good. Every color works. Every supporter works. Everything works with her because her kit is so incredibly tight and strong. It's good. It's great even. Then when you learn how to get really good at dodging and learning your placement and then doing everything set up well, you put her in S. She's good. Really strong. Super strong even. Yes, really, that's where I put her because because not only that, I really enjoy Astaroth. I really just enjoy playing Astaroth in general. All of my time attack records are with Astaroth because it feels really good to play with her because she's like, how do I put this? Astaroth also feels really fluid to move around with and use skills similar to Murasaki and Shiranui, because it's all of them have like skills that keep them in motion, do a ton of damage, let them like move in and out of the fight very easily. Obviously, Astaroth has her long wind-up skills, are very tough to get through. She has very tough to get through. But then you get like, after you use those skills, you can just go instantly into motion with her, hold down the attack button, and constantly keep the assault going with her. It's like super awesome with it. I love it. Everything about her feels right as a character. Obviously, some people don't like the idea that she's Emily Light, but you have to put a level of concentration and investment with her, and you do. You have to do that. You have to do that same with. You have to put also concentration and effort with Shiranui and Murasaki. But they feel good to me. All the characters up here feel absolutely perfect in a combination of skills, motion, moveset, and generally just how they do everything. Like, absolutely fantastic character. Astaroth and Mike are like one of the few characters that I got to 50,000. I maxed out all their skills and all their character points in like 4 days because they were so much fun. They're so much fun to play. And yes, Darth Neo, we will do a tower run with Astaroth, and it's the most brutal shit I've ever had to do before. I actually did it in practice the same day that the tower got reinstated. When that day came, I actually did a whole run by myself with Astaroth. And it feels good. Feels really goddamn good because the strength is there. It's awesome. Astaroth, you're S because you're super duper. But who came after Astaroth? Well, it's Tokiko. Now, I know this one will be just as contentious as the last one. Tokiko I don't like very much, but I respect her mechanically because Tokiko is like freeform jazz the character. Like, there is like everything about oh no, I'm forgetting her name. Everything about Tokiko is just about moving fluidly. The same way as I would with Murasaki, Shiranui, and Astaroth. It feels nice. It feels pretty good to play what's it called? Oh no, I'm forgetting her name because I'm still thinking about Astaroth. Tokiko. I have my thing over here to make sure it works out. Tokiko has the same level of freeform content with that because what are those things called? The finisher attacks. Tokiko has 2 finisher attacks, a melee and a ranged version, which are probably what makes her like probably one of my favorite characters to play with in general. Well, at least like I don't like Tokiko personally, but it's like, yeah, I end up saying that a lot because I don't like her. I like Tokiko mechanically. That's a character I have so much fun playing with, even though I don't do a lot of damage with her. Because Tokiko has the ability to have an escape, have an extremely high sniper skill, the ability to give defense down, hyper armor, high hit count ranged attacks, homing missiles, and extremely high fast attack rates. Like, she's very good. That's a 100% solid character I can get behind, and I like that. I don't have a lot of very good gear for Tokiko, so even when like I don't do a very good job and I actually succeed with her, it feels good doing that. It's like she's also another character that's like good in every color. Like, blue is good. Actually, blue is one of my favorites to play with her because like she has some of the best sniping in the entire game, in terms of like building it up to doing his things a certain way, and it just blows them the fuck up. It's awesome. I love it. Well, let me pull up Tokiko's skills because I forget the colors. Not the colors, but the effects. There we are. I have like 2 SRs at like skill level 5 for her, and I have to constantly keep swapping around with that. Tokiko is also the only character I can sit there and swap weapons for and actually get really good use out of them. Like, she actually feels like a really fully featured combo character. Like, it feels like I'm playing Trickster Dante or something like that, with how quick she moves everywhere around the battlefield. It's awesome. I love that. Like, let's see. Tokiko has debuffs. She has high melee damage. She's got extreme speed. She also has the ability to turn her melee into ranged attacks. Like, when you really, like, if you really start sitting down and like working with Tokiko and learning how she works, she has that really like, she demands a level of understanding. So it's like a decent skill floor and a somewhat high skill ceiling. Like, perfect play with Tokiko absolutely looks phenomenal in motion. Like, every time I see a video of someone like using Tokiko and they're actually pretty decent with her, it's amazing. It feels like they're weaving in and out of like the entire battlefield and they all fall down. It's good. That's how it feels nice to play her and get better. With weak weapons or strong weapons, it doesn't matter. She's just like, she's just like a solid contender. And that's why I'm going to put her at B. Because I don't have enough gear for her. I don't have gear for her. I don't think I ever will at this point, because it's been, I think, like 8 or 9 months since it's been released, and I have yet to get another UR for her that's not a thing for that. It sounds more or less like I'm annoyed with the fact that I don't have gear for her. I am annoyed that I don't have gear for her. I've learned how to play her well, but I can't deal enough damage. That's a me thing. Mechanically, Tokiko has all of her skills working just fine. She's very middle of the road and extremely gear dependent. Not as extreme as someone like Sue. She needs gear. I don't have good gear, but I have the mechanical ability. And through the mechanical ability and understanding of this very, very fun to play character, I can do very good things with her. However, she doesn't have the direct ease of use as the other girls in the other level. You need some gear, and you have to get better really, really quickly. Like, you have to start learning how she works, similar to some other characters we're going to look at later on. Shizuru. Shizuru's next after Tokiko. She was our Christmas present for the 2021 year, and she's going to go right straight into B. Tokiko. Oh my god, Shizuru. Shizuru is a character that also requires you to do the same level of understanding and planning as well as Tokiko. Tokiko requires you to learn about all those or require you to get a lot better at the game. All these like Sue, Tokiko, Asuka, especially and Shizuru, they require you to get a lot better as a player because they require positioning. They require strong positioning to get the most out of them. Shizuru's basic attack is a 1 second windup. I sat there and measured that motherfucker on day one because I couldn't believe how slow it was, but the rest of the attacks are so fast and have such high coverage, it's like, it doesn't matter. Shizuru also has the ability to inflict slows, debuffs, extremely high damage ranged attacks, the ability to one-shot enemies with Rose Rondo, and then like she has a better version of Asagi's triple green skill. I forget what the name of that is, but Shizuru's version is the better version of that. Shizuru combines like all the aspects of all the best aspects of Asagi, Murasaki, and the S lady, Shiranui. She combines the best aspects of all three of these characters, and they all get put into one right there. But then they give her an attack that's like the same speed as Noah, so you have to get better with that. And then like when a character has a rough or a difficult to use basic attack, it's tough to use. I have learned how to get very good with her, and I love Shizuru a lot because she requires you to get good, much like Tokiko, much like Sue. Like if you are not ready for these girls, you don't get them immediately. They require gear and they require a lot of patience. They're hard to use. They're hard to use immediately, but if you get a little acquainted with them, they'll carry your ass real hard. All right, let me go get something. Hang on. You won't last 30 seconds playing this game. These girls will clear you to bits. Exactly right there, Darth Neo. Life is hard when you learn Shizuru and these sort of characters, but it's very satisfying and fun to use as well. But you will learn, like when you get up against a hard content with Shizuru, you can't use her basic attack very much, or you have to know you're going to break their armor with that combo. Because life's very hard for her. She's very skill oriented and a very good character at keep away. Much like Tokiko, much like Sue, much like Asuka. But that's enough out of Shizuru right there. It's pretty right there. Good description right there. Next up is Felicia, our little February gift. Felicia is very strong. I won't deny. Felicia's strength is within her. Felicia's strength is in her basic attack and insane speed. Her speed, the basic attack she has with the level of coverage, and her Rochinagi. Like those three things are the most important things about her in general. She's very easy to play because of that. She's also another character where all three of her colors are very good because she has an attack that can apply blood marks better than her extreme dodge. She has a one-shotting attack. She has a crowd control attack. She quite honestly has like some of the best series of skills in the game. She's also a glass cannon though. So if she gets hurt in any sort of way, she's pretty much done for. It's why she has the healing skill. Felicia's strength day one is like, you know, it's there. It's going to be maintained 100%, and it will stay there to this day. There's no questions about it. Like, you can take her to the tower. You can take her to hard missions, bonus missions, farming, whatever. She will 100% carry you with her very tiny little arms and legs. She possesses strength unbound. She also has the same level of speed as these girls do. In terms of clearing, in terms of skills, there's like little recovery. There's a whole lot of good stuff inside Felicia. It's honestly like a dubious pick for me if I want to put her in S, because S rank Felicia is like, she has S rank concepts about her because she also has extreme ease of use. I also feel, oh shit, what the fuck was that? Okay. She's going to A. She is an A rank character for the most part. She's wholly solid. She's solid all around, but because honestly, like, I can't think of any real weaknesses for her except for the fact that she has low innate defense and you need some setup. And you need some setup to make sure that you're not going to get knocked out of Oroshinagi. No, she needs critical boost. She needs critical boost. If you don't have that, you're not going to be doing any damage with Felicia. I think she has crowd control ability with her green skill, so that's like perfect. That's absolutely wonderful. Like, honestly, depending on how your supporters look, and in terms of setup, she could actually differ between S and A for me. Yeah, fuck it. We'll put her in S. We're putting this bitch in S. She deserves it. She's super duper. Because the way I have her, she one-shots most bosses. She has the crowd control to do it. She's could do just about anything. If she gets a dot though, and she doesn't have her healing, she's kind of screwed because she has, I think, a generally low HP pool. So it's like all the builds work for her. She has healing. It's a strong heal too that's based off of your damage. So it's like it's the best kind of lifesteal too. I think it's only like a 2% take back every time you deal damage, but it's enough. However, that healing is not immediate, though. It takes, I think, about almost 3/4 to 1 second for those balls to absorb into Felicia. But either way, that's healing. That's a good heal, too. However, the healing applied is a bit tough to use, but it's doable. You can make it work. It takes a little work. It takes a little bit, just a little work. But Felicia's S. Next, we go to Micah. I'm sure you guys all know how much I wonderfully love Micah. Probably one of my favorite characters in the game. She just feels really good to play. For me personally, she would go straight to S. Not really, she goes to B. Micah goes to B because she has she's very cheap to play, not gear dependent, but if you cannot get past the basic attack, it's not going to work for you. It won't. She has the immense she has the immense core strength, much like Oboro, but you need some you need everything just in there to get it right. If you can't get past, because if you take the basic attack away from her, if you don't do that at all, you don't do the basic attack or anything like that, you just go and use all of her skills, most likely with like that. She's like, those skills have such a long cooldown initially. It's okay. She's physically slow. She has a full-length dash recovery before the next one. Like, if you are not mashing the fucking shit out of it to get it out, it's not gonna work. It's a saddening situation. I know. I've always been saying, like, I love myself some Micah, but I gotta acknowledge she's kind of mid. She takes a lot of practice, a lot of gear, and she really needs some serious help. She has 0 healing. You got to get used to that. I go take her on a tower run at 75 and say, she's good, guys. She's great. She's fantastic. Nah, she's B. She's so totally mid. No. No. Yeah, there we go. We're going up. We're going to the top. That's right. These are going to be our 5 characters for that at all. Micah's damage potential is like so. She's ranged Ingrid. I'll just say it. She's ranged Ingrid, fellas. She only needs 2 skills to work. That's it. She only needs 2 skills. This is an S rank unit. Because I was just fucking trolling you for like the whole rest of my days right there. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hold back because I love talking about. I was wondering about like, oh man, she's so good. She's so bad. It's like, no, Mike is very good. Don't ever fucking use her basic attack unless you're waiting for skills. That's just it. You can feed her absolutely crap supporters, and you can get away with just about anything with her, because she's got damage over time, huge projectiles, speed, great stuff. Oh my god, she's fantastic. Like when I was using her in the tower, it's the greatest just showcase of Micah in action. She's so fluid. Her, like all the characters in here, have perfect colors, perfect speed. Well, not so much Micah because she's got the quarter-second wait between her dashes, but that's actually livable. Everyone flows nicely. They move quickly. They have nice skills. They have good coverage. Healing or no healing. Healing, weak healing, no healing. They do it all. They can just move quickly. Nothing can stand in these characters' way at all. At least for me, whenever I go play these characters, I have nothing to fear. I will clear with these girls. With the rest of these characters, though, I have to do a little bit more planning instead of being reckless like these 5 do. Like, look at these. Everyone here, except for Felicia, has got absolute fucking, like, honkers on them. They got dumpies for days. It's like, I can't believe it. It's unbelievable stuff. They're the hot bitches gaming. Micah, like, she's extremely cheap to play. Since day 1, I've only been using her critical damage SR. There's no other reason to use Micah without her critical damage SR. She absolutely needs it. And an arena weapon. That's it. All I've done is just use those. And then if you were there on the last time, like we cleared the entire tower with Micah. That's it. And we use like all 3 of her colors too, and they work. Like, it's fine. Micah's great. Everything works with her. It just feels good. It feels good to play. Everything about her feels good. I like that. Except for the basic attack. The basic attack kind of still sucks. It probably always will until probably next year when they give her an update. But in the meantime, you still have her perpetual motion machine of strength. That's what I want. That's what I like about her. I will never not tell people about how great she is. I will always give advice about how to play Micah. Because this is like the epitome. Her, Astaroth, like all these characters right here are like the perfect characters for me. They're like the perfect gameplay experience. And to follow that up is Miss Rin. Miss Rin is our latest addition. I haven't gotten too much time to play with her. She's only obviously been out for 2 months. We're about to get a new character anyways too. But Miss Rin, as of late, she's very good. I don't have as much of experience with her as I do with like Micah or Asagi or Rinko. I don't have as much experience with her yet. But I'll keep her at A. I understand she's strong. I know she's strong. I've taken her to in practice to other places in the tower. She can clear just fine. She's great. But it's the fact it's like I need to get better with her, but her gameplay experience is like fantastic. She feels just as fluid as all these characters right here. All these moves feel like pretty good. However, there is no hill I have to get over with there's no hill I have to get over with Rin. Each one of these characters, though, actually has something about them I have to get over, but if you get over that aspect, you unlock like extreme power. Rin just has extreme power from day one. Rin honestly can move between A and S because of like whatever supporter setup you use, since all three of her colors like are pretty solid for the most part. But it's like with Murasaki, I had to conquer her slowness and learn how to play a dodge and weave sort of play style, similar to Sue. And then Shiranui having the ability to having the very slow basic attack, and also learning how to position myself and set up situations so I can get both hits off of Senko and snipe my enemies and then heal with them. And learning how to trade efficiently with Shiranui is extremely important. Astaroth, and then the mastering the art of dodging, alongside learning to place your learning the entire windup for all three of her for both of her red and blue skills, so that they can actually take the minimal amount of damage. Then Felicia's weak innate constitution and need for setup. Learning that is like, and then of course Micah's basic attack, and also her very choppy dash. If you like learning these characters and then mastering them is like the most satisfying thing to me. I could honestly go on and on about like these characters right here for like forever. They're the most satisfying to play, and I could honestly, I just rotate between like these five: Asagi, Rinko, and Tokiko, and Asuka. I just rotate about, well, I pretty much just play about every character so I can keep myself well-rounded and a deep understanding of everybody. But that's the list. That's where everybody is at. That's where everybody is right now for me. There are no innately extremely horrible characters. Only horrible people. But yes, the new character is right around the corner, everybody. I think it's what's supposed to be Kanazuki Sora, which is pretty insane. It's pretty nuts, actually. Because it's like, wow. Can you believe it, though? Rin came out in June. Rin released early in June. It's July. It's almost the middle of July right now. And her having that insane lifesteal is just like, it's perfect. Like, why would I ever not like Rin's lifesteal? Because it's a very high damage skill, hits 4 times, which means she can recover like all of her HP at the same time. It's great. Sora is probably going to be next though. And since like, since she's releasing in August, that means the next character release will be Anniversary, which is October. I mean, it's not exactly a leak. It's just speculation, Gremory. I just feel like the next character may or may not be Miss Kanazuki Sora. But that's the list, baby. That's who we got over here for the Hardcorn's top gameplay picks for myself, at least. This is who I like to play and why I like to play them. We'll post that on the Twitter itself, so we can post it for posterity. I'm sure that will get me tons of hilarious Twitter clout posts about how stupid I am and my decisions for putting people like Yukikaze and B and all that, like Yukikaze and B and Yukikaze and B, Micah and S, Astaroth and S. Yeah, it's like Taimanin TV just showed us the limited Sora, so it's like it's an inevitability. It's like, come on now. Like that, that's not a leak. That's like, we know at this point when they put the limited Sora, it's time. We're getting a new character in probably 2 weeks. But that's the list. Go copy it for yourself. Go do all that sort of fun shit with it. That's Go shit post it around. Go post it on Reddit or 4chan or whatever, what have you. Go post that in the Spanish server or something. No, Shikanosuke is a guy. Nod. Kanazuki Sora is the heterochromia girl that that appears with a Sakuya. Oh, I would love another waifu wars. Don't get me wrong. I would love that sort of thing. That would be great. Because that would be very fun to have. But with that, though, I think I'll leave you guys on that one. It was a very good stream today. We made our very first tier list. But I'm sure we will be making more of those in the future. That was very nice and fun. Thank you guys for stopping by. Tomorrow we have Doom 2016 we're going to be playing. I think that's what I have on the schedule. I have to check. But we'll be playing Doom 2016. I'll see how far I can get on that in tomorrow. That's going to be an interesting time for sure, so check on that next time. So I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you everybody for coming on by, and as always, I'll see you next time.